Welcome to the regular meeting of the Cape Coral City Council. Today is October 8th, 2025. This meeting now comes to order. Please stand for the invocation, pledge allegiance by Councilmember Kaduka.
Bow your heads with me. Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us together this evening in service to our community. We're grateful for the opportunity to lead with purpose, wisdom, and compassion as we make decisions for the people of Cape Coral. We ask for your continued protection and blessing over our first responders, our police officers, firefighters, and paramedics who serve with courage and sacrifice each day to keep our city safe. May they always return home safely to their families. Tonight, we also take a moment to celebrate the many businesses that have been part of Cape Coral for 50 years or more. Their dedication, resilience, and commitment to our community have helped shape Cape Coral into the thriving city we're proud to call home. Grant us guidance, patience, and clarity as we carry out the work before us this evening. May every decision made reflect fairness, respect, and the best interest of all who live in our great city. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Gunter,
Here.
Council Members Donnell,
Here.
Kaduke,
Here.
Kilrain,
Here.
Lastra,
Here.
Lehman, Long,
Here.
Steinke,
Here.
all present.
Also, just a reminder to anyone who is here tonight that wishes to speak during citizens' input, you're required to fill out a public comment card before the start of citizens' input. Comment cards are available on the left side from me, your right of the dais down on the table. Please fill out the card if you wish to speak during citizens' input later on in the agenda. The city clerk will get the cards and they will call your names one by one once we get to that point, and you'll come up to the podium to my left, your right. Item number 5 is changes to the agenda. The only change that I have, I would like to add for a follow-up item for City Council. After our special meeting today, where there was a motion and a discussion regarding our internal staff regarding their pay increases, we need to memorialize that as a starting date. So staff has asked that we do that in tonight's meeting. So I would like to add that up for follow-up items for council. Other than that, that's the only change I have. Councilmember Lehman, I see your light on.
Yes, I'd like to pull Resolution 28625 regarding the Sands Bridge.
And we will
I
get...
want it for further discussion because I have some questions about it.
And we will get to that point a little later in the agenda when we pull items for the consent agenda. So if you would, I'll go to you then, and you can reiterate that request.
Okay.
Motion to
So
approve.
move to agenda as modified by mayor.
Second.
All right. Any other discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman, Long, Steinke,
Aye.
Donnell, Gunter,
Aye.
Kaduke,
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, item 6 is recognitions and achievements. 6A is recognitions of 50 years or more of business anniversary. This is something that I brought forward that I thought was important to recognize businesses within our community that have been in business for at least 50 years or more. We do have 4 particular businesses that we are going to recognize tonight. Again, it's truly an honor to stand here and today and recognize these incredible milestones, businesses with over the 50 years of service and dedication, community partnership, and excellence by the following businesses here in our city: Acura Electric, Ken's Auto Repair, Rasso Realty, and Robin Dawn Academy. In today's fast-paced and ever-changing world, longevity in business is no small feat. To thrive for over 5 decades requires vision, resilience, adaptability, and all above, a deep connection to the community. And these businesses embody all that and more. Since opening their doors to the community, they have not only provided quality products and services, they've also become a pillar in our city as well. Generations of families have walked through their doors, trusted their expertise, and felt the care and commitment that these businesses bring to everyone in our community. So on behalf of the City of Cape Coral, myself and the City Council, and everyone gathered here today, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your preservation, your heart, and your unwavering dedication to our community. Here's to the past 50 years, and I hope you have many more ahead. So congratulations. I'm going to come down. As I call your business name, I would ask that anyone from that particular business to come forward. I'll present you with a plaque, and we'll take a picture. So with that being said, I'll come on down, and we'll get started. Okay, the first business that we're going to recognize tonight is Acura Electric. So anyone from Acura Electric would like to come up? Morning. Come up here. Yeah. Thank you, John. Good. I don't wait on those. How many years have you been in business?
50 years this year.
50 years.
That's incorporated.
Thanks. Appreciate you being a part of the
Thank you.
community.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Yeah. Okay.
Next business we have is Ken's Automotive Repair. Congratulations. And how many years have you been in business, sir?
52.
52 years. Thank you for all your service to our community and what you've done over those years. And I have a plaque to recognize those years of service. And we'll take a picture. Thank you. And the next business that we're going to recognize is Rasso Realty. And how many years have you guys been in business?
52.
52 years. Again, wanted to thank you for all your service to the community over those 52 years.
I accept this for the Rasso family who couldn't be here tonight.
Okay, well, thank you for coming. And the last business that we have is Robin Dawn Academy. I believe that's a dance academy, so come on up. Hi, how many years have you been in business?
51.
51. Thank you for everything you've done for our community. I'm sure a lot of youth, probably activities. Yeah, so thank you for providing those services to our residents.
Thank you for the award.
And the next item on the agenda is presentation for city employees for years of service. I'd like to recognize the following employee for their bravery and dedication to the city of Cape Coral. Thank you for your courage and your service and devotion to protecting our community. Throughout your esteemed career, they have demonstrated the highest standards of professionalism, integrity, and commitment to public safety. Thank you for all you do, for all the sacrifices that you've made over the years, the sacrifices that your family has made as well. Thank you for being such a valuable member of our team. Unfortunately, this person could not be here tonight, but I wanted to still make sure that they were recognized for the 21 years of service that they provided to the city of Cape Coral. Madam City Clerk, could you please read the recipient's name?
Robert Fonick, Fire Department, 21 years of service.
And let's give him a round of applause. Okay, one more recognition we have tonight. The next item on there is Lake Kennedy Fitness Equipment Recognition, and this is by the city manager, so I'll turn it over to you, sir. The Lake Kennedy Fitness Equipment Recognition?
Yes.
Whoever's doing that?
Purple, yeah.
Yep.
They're there. Thank you.
Thank you. We'd like to present this recognition for the Lake Kennedy Fitness Park. It was created through a collaboration between the City of Cape Coral and the Guardian Angels to provide an ADA accessible fitness area for individuals of all abilities to enjoy. In partnership with Parks and Recreation Department, Guardian Angels for Special Populations helped secure 2 grants, $30,000 from Galisano Foundation and $10,000 from Incredible Bank, while also contributing from Guardian Angels $30,000 of their own funds to support the renovation. Additional funding was provided by Parks and Recreation Department to complete this project. This joint effort has resulted in a welcoming, inclusive space that special populations participants are excited to use, conveniently located within walking distance of their facility. If you all would please come to the front. We will have a dedication of the amenity on site a little later in October. Go ahead. We'll go up front, right, and take a picture of you. Back. We have a slide presentation, but it doesn't seem to be going on screen. There you go. Thank you all. It's just a quick 1-minute presentation, so.
Yep. Just want to recognize and say thank you for your partnership in the community as well. Okay, we'll move on to item 7 is approval of the minutes. Do we have a motion regarding the minutes of the special meeting of September 11th, 2025?
So move to approve.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do we have a motion regarding the minutes of the special meeting of September 17th, 2025?
Second.
Is there any council discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do we have a motion regarding the minutes of the regular meeting, September 17th, 2025?
So move.
Second.
Is there any council discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 8 is business. 8A is the consent agenda. I'll now open up the agenda for council to pull any items, and I know Councilmember Lehman had one before, so I'll go to her first.
Yes, I'd like to pull 286-02, 286-25 regarding the Sands Bridge.
Okay,
For further discussion,
all right. 28625, I believe that's number 4 on the consent agenda.
yes, sir, it is.
Thank you. Councilmember Kaduc?
Thank you. Number 5, Resolution 288-25.
Okay. So it looks like we have a total of 9 items on the consent agenda. Item 4, Resolution 28625, and number 5, Resolution 288-25 has been removed, and I will entertain a motion for the remainder.
So
Motion
moved.
to approve.
Second,
Any council discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra. Aye. Lehman,
aye.
Long.
Aye.
Steinke.
Aye.
Donnell. Gunter.
Aye.
Paduk.
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, Resolution 286-25, that resolution was pulled by Councilmember Lehman, so I'll give you the floor, ma'am.
Thank you. I wanted it pulled because on this resolution, it says construction of the bridge on Sands Boulevard. However, the RFP that went out and ended today was for repair of the north seawall. Why the difference between the RFP and the resolution? Mr. City Manager?
Your resolution descriptions come from the title of the resolution. So when you're looking at the agenda, you're looking at the actual title of the resolution, but the RFP describes the scope of work and what is actually being bid. So this is just a summary coming right from the title of the resolution.
Is there a complete scope of work? Because on Iron Wave, it was not a complete scope of work. I've looked at it.
I will either let my procurement staff or public works staff let you know what is involved in the repair work.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, sir.
So there was not a complete scope of work in this resolution. The resolution was specifically a pre-authorization to expedite the process for awarding construction. The contract itself for the repairs, are interim mitigated repairs, which were recommended by the engineer. That scope of work is some sheet piling driven in to stop additional erosion from coming into the area where the seawall had been compromised, and then also some backfilling with flowable fill and stabilizing the area while we wait for the permanent repair design to be completed.
Okay, and who was doing the permanent repair?
The
The permanent design.
The permanent repair design has recently been switched over to FDOT, completing that in-house.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilmember Kilrain.
Yeah, just a couple quick comments on that. I commend staff and their prudence in diligently moving forward with intermediate repairs prior to the permanent fix on the bridge. It shows that we recognize that we have to maintain that bridge and keep it in satisfactory order and minimize any further deterioration. And I think that by driving those pilings, going to have a great outcome with it, and I hopefully we won't have to do much more than that. And I think that the reason that it was shifted over is because the contract with KCA, who was the original designer, had expired in funds with the state. And so the state picked up on that, and to our benefit, it's likely going to be done for less engineering cost and probably done in a more expedited manner. So just to put an exclamation point on that, another good catch by staff, and thank you for that. Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, I think it's also important to note here in the resolution, if you read it, it says, whereas staff initiated the design and interim mitigative repairs to focus on stabilizing the site, preventing further seawall and embankment deterioration, mitigating fill loss in order to maintain the structural integrity of the bridge, protect adjacent infrastructure, and ensure public safety for both motorists, boaters, until a comprehensive permanent repair can be designed. and permitted and constructed. So this here is just for repairs. I just wanted to make sure the public is aware. This is just to mitigate some of the erosion issues that are out there. And at some other later date, once the design, the redesign, I should say, because we designed it once. And then there was an additional damage as a result of Hurricane Milton and Helene. So now we have to go back to the drawing board, do another design. But these here are just the mitigating any more erosion. So I just wanted to make sure the public was clear on exactly what this $250,000 award is. So isn't that factually correct?
Absolutely. Yep.
All right, thank you. All right, with that being said, I see no other lights on. Madam City Clerk, could you please call the roll? Do we have a motion? All right, we need a motion
to
first.
approve Resolution 286-25.
Okay, we have a motion and a second now. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Kilrain.
Aye.
Lastra.
Aye.
Lehman. Long. Steinke.
Aye.
Donnell. Gunter.
Aye.
Paduk.
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, we have Resolution 288-25. Councilmember Kaduki, you pulled this item, so I'll give you the floor, ma'am.
Thank you, Mayor. I really just pulled this item so that we could have a public, thorough discussion on what happened and just some clarity for the public. I still plan on hopefully approving this should the collective body want to. Thank you.
Okay, I'll turn it over to Mr. Williams, Public Works Director.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. Matt Williams, Public Works Director. No real excuse on this one, more reason and explanation of what happened. When we originally bid this, there was a challenge to the original bid, which happened quite a few months ago. And so what had happened is we pulled that back, and instead of going through the lengthy process of clearing up that challenge, we just pulled it out. We rebid it. The original bid had all the utility crossings and everything associated with it. When we rebid it, our staff pulled the wrong document, put that up, and went out to bid with that. That left out approximately 40 utility crossings that were required as part of getting the project done. We have a storm pipe that's running down parallel to Hancock Bridge, and there are obviously some service lines and other utilities that we have to avoid. So we went back to the contractor, asked them if they could give us their pricing. The contractor that was awarded the project asked if they could get their pricing on this. Came back, we asked them to sharpen their pencils, and this is really just getting that additional $1.2 million to incorporate those 40 utility crossings. Had the bid tab been right when we originally bid this project, this is the cost that it would have been overall. So the $6.4 million that we have in front of you right now as the total project cost is very close to what it would have been had the bid tab been correct when we originally bid this project.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Kaduki. You still have the floor.
Thank you. So I understand that there was a mistake and something wrong was uploaded. However, it's concerning to me that the contractor reviewed these documents and didn't realize that they would have to do additional work and didn't say anything.
This is something that we have met with them a couple of times on since. And their claim is yes, well, we saw this work and they didn't have a really good answer, much like we don't, on why that stuff was
They
missing.
took us to the cleaners, right? Thank you.
Councilmember Kilrain.
Yeah, and basically, Matt, thank you for living up to the mistake. And, you know, I can't think of too many people in this world that haven't made a mistake. I sure as hell have made a lot of them projects. And, you know, that's part of the game. I'm not condoning the mistake, but the point is, stuff happens, and thank you for bringing it out, not trying to hide it. And, you know, so I just appreciate you being forthcoming in that. And we'll learn from here. And when things change, often there's an opportunity for a mistake. So I think we'll be more careful about when we have to change and switch gears on something to make sure it's complete and thorough. So thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, seeing no other lights on, I'll entertain a motion for Resolution 288-25.
Motion to approve.
Any other council discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman, Long,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
Donnell, Gunter,
Aye.
Paduk.
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, next item on agenda is 9B, appointments to boards and committees. B1, we have the Municipal Police Employee Pension Trust Fund Board of Trustees. There is one vacancy, and my understanding, Madam City Clerk, we have one applicant is Robert Kepler. Is that all that we have?
That is correct.
And it looks like this will be for a 4-year term that expires on October 31st, 2029.
Yes, sir, and the applicant is present if council had any questions.
Okay, so we have one applicant and one vacancy. Is there a need to hear that applicant, or I'll entertain a motion?
I'd like to
Make the motion to approve, Mr. Robert.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All right. Any other discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Kilrain,
Yes.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman, Long,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
Donnell, Gunter,
Aye.
Paduk.
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, the next item, number 2, is the firefighters Pension Trust Fund Board of Trustees. Again, that's the Municipal Firefighters Pension Trust Fund Board of Trustees. We have one vacancy. I understand, Madam City Clerk, we have one applicant, Walter Stevens. This is also a 4-year term, which expires on October 31st, 2029. Any other applicants but that one applicant listed?
Just the one, and the applicant is present if council had any questions.
Okay, and I will entertain a motion, since we only have one applicant. and-
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any other council discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra, Lehman, Long,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
Donnell, Gunter,
Aye.
Paduk.
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
And Councilmember Donnell, see your light on, you got?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Would it be, I would like to just have them stand, and they made a track out here so we can see who they are, and I would just like to see them and thank them for just where you are. Okay.
Your name, sir? Robert Kepler from the Police Pension Fund. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you all very much. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes. All right, we have one last one. This next individual is a vacancy for the council.
Nope.
I would be happy to explain the next one, if you'd
I'm
like.
sorry?
I would be happy to explain the next one,
Yeah,
if
go
you
ahead.
wish. Okay. So under the Firefighters Pension Trust Fund Board of Trustees, they have what's called a fifth trustee that serves, and they are selected from the board members with a vote that occurred, and then council is asked respectfully to ratify their appointment. So it happens every 4 years for each one of the pension boards. You might not recognize it because it is so infrequent, but Mr. Damon Alamonte was selected from the 4 seated trustees to serve as the fifth trustee.
Okay, is he here tonight?
No, sir.
All right. So with that being said, we have, looks like we have one vacancy, one applicant, and I will entertain a motion.
Motion to ratify.
And that was for, could you repeat the gentleman's name?
Damon Alamonte.
Damon Alamonte.
Okay. And the second?
Second.
All right. Any other discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman, Long,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
Donnell, Gunter,
Aye.
Kaduk.
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, item 8C is unfinished business. C1 is follow-up items for council. We added this particular discussion in the beginning of the meeting. This is to memorialize the discussion that we had earlier. We had a motion in our special meeting earlier today, but we failed to outline when that particular compensation increase with our internal staff will be effective. Staff has made a recommendation that this particular increase go into effect on the first full pay period of October of 2025. So we would need a motion to kind of memorialize that when that it takes effect.
A motion to memorialize the staff action taken earlier today, indicating that the salary action would take place in the first full pay period of October 2025.
Second.
Any other council discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Kilrain.
Aye.
Lastra.
Aye.
Lehman. Long.
Aye.
Steinke.
Aye.
Donnell.
Aye.
Gunter.
Aye.
Paduk.
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, item C2 is follow-up items for city management. We don't have anything listed there. Item 8D, new business, we have none listed. Item 9 is ordinances and resolutions. 9A is public hearing, quasi-judicial hearings. The first of which is Resolution 268-25. Madam City Clerk, please read the title.
Resolution 268-25, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Cape Coral, Florida, providing for the vacation of plat for a portion of Southeast 18th Place Street right-of-way and underlying easements between lots 24 through 26, Block 594, Unit 12, Cape Coral subdivision, providing for the vacation of platted public utility and drainage easements lying in lots 25 and 26, Block 594, Unit 12, Cape Coral subdivision. Properties located at 3311 Southeast 18th Place and 3315 Southeast 18th Place, providing for an effective date.
Okay, Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. In reference to this quasi-judicial hearing under Resolution 268-25, if there were any ex parte communications as required under our code, this should be the time for those disclosures to occur.
Thank you. Any council members have any ex parte communications to report? No. Okay, seeing none, this is a quasi-judicial hearing. Anyone wishing to speak or provide testimony must be sworn in. So if you are here today to speak on this particular item, I'd ask you to stand in the audience and be sworn in.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
And I'll turn it over to staff. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. For the record, Patrick White, Senior Planner downstairs in DSD. This case is Resolution 268-25. The applicant is John Stifter and Brenda Stifter. It involves two pieces of property, 3311 and 3315 Southeast 18th Place. The applicants are requesting to vacate 2,000 square feet of street right-of-way and underlying easements, and to vacate 504.10 square feet of platted easements related to the primary vacation. This property is in Southeast Cape Coral. That aerial depicts the two properties in red. The properties have a future land use classification of single family and a zoning of single family, as do all other surrounding properties in that area of the city. The application was initiated by Mr. John Stifter. He's the authorized representative of owners of both of the subject properties. Per the letter of intent, the vacation is requested to accommodate a future garage addition on the 3311 Southeast 18th Place. In this instance, all of the vacated right-of-way would be allocated to that northern property. That northern property will be enlarged by approximately 2,000 square feet following the vacation, and the southern property will not change in size. The vacation would be accomplished with 3 documents. Exhibit A, which is the right-of-way vacation, here depicts the hammerhead right-of-way that the city would vacate. Exhibit B shows the internal public utility easements that would no longer be required in their current location. And Exhibit C relocates them to the correct new location in order to reestablish a 6-foot perimeter public utility easement around the expanded property. There are a number of standards that staff reviews when looking at a vacation. They're found in LDC section 3.4.5. Standard 1, we found that there were not these easements were not necessary for future transportation or water management or utilities. Criteria 2, we found that there are no additional easements that need to be vacated. Condition 3, we found that no alternative routes are required. Condition 4, staff found that the closure will not negatively affect the area. The remaining cul-de-sac will function as is. And criteria 5 asks whether we have the letters of no objection from the utility companies. We've received all of those. Planning staff is recommending approval of the resolution. This case was presented to the hearing examiner on August 12th, who also recommends approval of the vacation. I've received no correspondence to date and will stand by for any questions.
Okay, thank you. Is the applicant here or their representative? Sir, would you like to speak? Nope. Okay. All right, I'll now open up public hearing. Is there anyone wishing to speak on Resolution 268-25? Please come forward. Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion regarding Resolution 268-25?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any council discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Kilrain.
Aye.
Lastra.
Aye.
Lehman. Long.
Aye.
Steinke.
Aye.
Donnell.
Aye.
Gunter.
Aye.
Kaduk.
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, move on to
Thank you.
Resolution 275-25. Madam City Clerk, please read the title.
Resolution 275-25, a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Cape Coral, Florida, providing for the vacation of plat for a portion of Southeast 18th Place Street right-of-way and underlying easements between lots 29 through 32, Block 594, Unit 12, Cape Coral subdivision. Providing for the vacation of platted public utility and drainage easements lying in lots 29 through 31, Block 594, Unit 12, Cape Coral subdivision. Providing for the vacation of a platted public utility and drainage easements lying in Lot 32, Block 594, Unit 12, Cape Coral subdivision. Properties located at 3303 Southeast 18th Place and 3318 Southeast 18th Place, providing for an effective date.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. In reference to this specific agenda item, which is a quasi-judicial matter under Resolution 275-25, if there are any ex parte communications that occurred with the applicant, this will be the time to disclose it pursuant to our code.
Thank you. Any council members have any ex parte communications to report? Okay, seeing none, this is a quasi-judicial hearing. Anyone wishing to speak or provide testimony must be sworn in. So if you will be participating in a conversation regarding Resolution 275-25, please stand and you will be sworn in.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I will turn it over to staff. Good evening, Mr. Struve.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. For the record, Mike Struve, Planning Team Coordinator with the Planning Division. My credentials are in file with the City Clerk's Office. This case before you this evening is a privately initiated vacation request brought forward by two property owners, Burgundy and Gold Properties 2, LLC, and Jason and Tricia Ortelga. The owners are seeking to vacate over 3,000 square feet of street right-of-way and underlying easements associated with Southeast 18th Place. And then they're also requesting to vacate platted easements to varying amounts or degrees on their own personal properties. These two sites are located at 3303 and 3318 Southeast 18th Place. This case is almost a companion case, if you will, to the first one because it's on the same block and the subject properties are located directly to the west of the properties involved in the first case. This is an aerial map. The Burgundy and Gold property here is to the north. The Battaglia property is to the south. These sites are located in an area of the city that are built out with existing single-family homes. And again, like the first case, both properties have a single-family future land use classification, R1 or single-family zoning, as do all sites extending beyond 500 feet of the subject properties. Both sites have existing single-family dwellings. In discussing this case with the applicants, the Burgundy, the owner, or member of the Burgundy and Gold property has indicated that they plan in the future to demolish their home and build a larger single-family residence, so this vacation request would slightly enlarge their site and perhaps more importantly, provide them with greater setback flexibility in the future for the construction of that home. The applicant's letter of intent indicates that the owners intend to split any granted right-of-way conferred by this vacation equally between the two owners. And these next couple of slides just show the street right-of-way and easements to be vacated. This shows here, indicated by the red arrow, the street right-of-way and underlying easements that would be vacated as part of this request. Totals a little over 3,000 square feet. These two depictions show the property to the north, again, the Burgundy and Gold site. The red arrow on the left indicates the platted easements that are requested to be vacated. The vacated street right-of-way is highlighted in a blue crosshatch. On the right, the arrow indicates the easements underlying the vacated right-of-way that the city would keep or retain to ensure that a 6-foot wide perimeter easement would be maintained around this site following the vacation. And likewise for the property to the south, the depiction on the left shows the platted easement that would be vacated, and the picture on the right in the crosshatch shows the easements underlying the vacated right-of-way, again, that the city would retain to ensure a perimeter easement around the expanded site, should this case be approved. Staff has analyzed these vacation requests consistent with the standards that appear in section 3.4.5 of the Land Development Code. First standard is, are the easements and right-of-way required for a future transportation, water management, or utility purpose? And the answer to that is no, with staff conditions, because we would be retaining some easements, again, to provide for a perimeter easement and for future utility installation purposes. Second standard, are new easements required to accommodate the vacation of easements and right-of-way? The answer to that is no. We will be retaining some existing easements, but no new easements are necessary. 3, are alternative routes required or available that do not cause adverse impacts to surrounding areas? So alternative routes are not necessary in this situation. 4th, will the closure of a right-of-way negatively affect areas used for vehicles to turn around and exit an area? The answer to that is no. We will not be affecting the actual cul-de-sac itself. The cul-de-sac will remain as it is. The only right-of-way that will be vacated is the very in or western portion of Southeast 18th Place that provides access only to one of the applicants in this case, and their access will not be adversely affected by this vacation. And then lastly, have local utility providers given consent to the vacation of easements and right-of-way? The answer is yes, with conditions. So staff is recommending approval of these vacation requests with conditions. The hearing examiner did review this case and recommended approval following a public hearing on August 12th. There were no speakers at that particular public hearing. We have received 2 phone calls concerning this case. Both individuals just requested more information about the requests, and I will stand by in case you have questions.
Okay, thank you. Is the applicant or their representative here tonight? Come on up front, sir.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Scott Hertz on behalf of the applicants requesting the vacation. I think most of this was truly covered by your staff. I'll just briefly walk through a couple points. The total area is 3,027 square feet approximately. It'll be split evenly between the two parties. It'll primarily focus to enable better development in the future of the properties. The Burgundy and Gold property is intending to demolish the existing structure and redo that area. And this was a little bit better close-up, I think, of showing you the area. Again, it was very similar to the one you just approved. It's one of the old hammerheads, and you can see it's currently only serving the Burgundy and Gold property, but that property will be reconfigured in compliance with the split, and a new drive will be created after this structure is demolished. Further, there was an existing stormwater inlet there. That was one of the conditions that the city staff requested, that the applicants agreed to extend that out to the new right-of-way, and they have agreed to do that as a condition of the vacation, and have also likewise agreed with the other requested conditions. It'll enable better use of the property, particularly as you saw, that was kind of an odd-shaped property, making it hard to design a house that complies with all the setbacks because of the variation in the setback that there was. The right-of-way is not serving any meaningful public benefit, and as you can see, the only property using it is the Burgundy and Gold property, so it won't affect anyone else. All of the providers of visual aid are saying they don't have any objections. Their only condition was, if it turns out they have a utility in that area, which they don't believe they do, that we'd be responsible for the cost of doing it, which the owners are willing to undertake, and it's consistent with the plat otherwise done, shown, and as the council has commonly done in the past. There are no specific policies governing this, but in terms of doing it, it will still be greater than 10,000 square feet. It won't exceed the allowable density in the area, so all of that is met as set forth on the slide for you, congruent with policy 1.5A. And we've reviewed the conditions of approval and agree with same, and we request tonight that you vote to approve this, and if you have any questions for the applicant, we stand ready to answer same. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll now open up the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on Resolution 275-25, please come forward. Maybe someone's phoning in. Okay, seeing no one wishing to speak during public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion regarding Resolution 275-25?
Motion to approve.
Any council discussion? Councilmember Kilrain.
Yeah, I just have a question. With the letter of intent and the desire to split that property, just for my own education on this, we don't get involved in any of that, but the property right now, we're vacating it, so it becomes theirs, but we don't have to follow up any further with it based on the letter of intent.
That's correct. Our job as staff is to evaluate the request and to make sure that there is no future public benefit to us keeping that vacated area. How the owners decide to split that property is up to themselves generally with the assistance of a land use attorney. So we do not determine that ourselves, council member.
Okay, so the reference to that letter of intent was just informational purposes? It wasn't a condition placed upon the property?
There was no condition there. It was just to, I think, to inform staff and council that we are both interested in this vacation and we plan on splitting the property evenly between the two of us.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, seeing no other lights on, Madam City Clerk, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Please call the roll.
Kilrain.
Aye.
Lastra.
Aye.
Lehman. Aye. Long.
Aye.
Steinke.
Aye.
Donnell. Aye. Gunter.
Aye.
Paduk.
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, move on to items 9B, which is legislative public hearings. First of which is Resolution 294-25. Madam City Clerk, please read the title.
Resolution 294-25, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Cape Coral, Florida, relating to the construction and funding of irrigation water improvements, describing the proposed North 1 East Irrigation Water Improvement Area and the irrigation water improvements necessary for the provision of irrigation water service therein, estimating the cost of the improvements, establishing the method of assessing the costs and benefits of the improvements against real property that will be specially benefited, establishing a public hearing to consider imposition of the proposed assessments and the method of their collection, directing the publication and mailing of notice of such hearing, directing the preparation of preliminary assessment rolls, directing the provision of notice and certain other matters in connection therewith, and providing an effective date.
Okay, thank you, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Corbett.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Bill Corbett, Public Works. Here to discuss with you this evening the initial assessment resolution for North 1 East Utilities Extension Project. We will in this presentation include the potable, irrigation, and wastewater elements, and it will be the same presentation to apply for the next agenda items. So we're going to start off with the history. We'll discuss the technical details of the project, and then, of course, the financing components of the project and the assessments forthcoming. For a little bit of history, the UEP project is responsible for extending water, sewer, and irrigation infrastructure throughout the city. It is constructed in phases, and special assessments and water and sewer fees fund the majority of the project. There is availability of, there are benefits of the availability of public municipal utilities, including reliability of the system, quality of service, reduction of septic systems and water wells, thereby addressing some of the environmental issues we have throughout the city, brings on more customers, expands our options for economic growth. There's a wide variety of benefits to the UEP program. So our, historically, we have assessed these projects, water, sewer, irrigation, variety of benefits that we had touched on before, and the majority of those improvements which have been done historically have been through assessments. So as you see here on the map, everywhere shaded in the dark gray was paid through a UEP assessment using a similar methodology to what we're looking at today. Previously, the North 2 area was complete, and currently under construction is the North 1 West area. The program was resurrected back in 2012 after being put on hold in 2008. And so the North 1 East will adopt the same methodology as the North 1 West and the Southwest 6, 7, and North 2 projects. There are two components of the assessment, if you will. First is the line extension charge, and so that is the actual assessment, which will capture the utilities, water and sewer, which are more for collection and distribution, and then the CFEC, the Capital Facility Expansion Charge, which covers the facilities such as pump stations, as well as larger mains for treatment and transmission and conveyance of those utilities. The assessments can be paid in full, or there are financing options available for residents who are unable to pay in full, and there are no prepayment penalties if you were to go ahead and pay that in full. And the remainder of the cost is financed through bonds, which is repaid over the time of the term and by the assessments, as well as collected fees for water and sewer. So the North 1 East project area is located in the eastern part of the city, east of Del Prado. This is south of Kismet down to almost Pine Island Road, where the previous boundary of the North 2 UAP was. Here's just a closer view for you showing the contract areas as they're currently proposed. We have 5 contract areas in North 1 East. Currently estimated construction costs are $175 million roughly. Now this is just construction costs. Throughout the 5 contracts, as well as the master pump station, which is required to convey the wastewater flow to the treatment plant. And so the first contract award, Southwest Utilities, Denco, Guyman Construction, another Southwest Utilities for Master Pump Station 725. Contract 10, the bid opens next week, and we will have an idea of who that contractor will be at that time. And similarly, Contract 11 is also to be determined. That is being finalized in design. That is the contract which encompasses Northeast 24th widening. So including all of the soft costs and the total project costs, in addition to just the construction, we're looking at approximately $227.5 million. And this includes
A variety of the utilities we talked about also includes fiber optics, storm drain replacements, and other improvements that we are able to capture under the program. Breaking that down into water, wastewater, irrigation, storm, road improvements, road widening, and fiber optics, you can see here that these are effectively the category, if you will, that these are broken up so this way they are attributed to the correct funding sources. Each of these are funded by a different source shown here. And so the first line is that assessment we talked about before, that line assessment. Next is the CFEC, and then of course we have water and sewer, transportation funds. Northeast 24th is broken out separately. Although it's being constructed as part of UEP, it is effectively a standalone project and would have needed to be completed. We are utilizing the UEP to construct this and hopefully take advantage of economies of scale on the pricing, as well as reducing the number of impacts to the residents in the area. And so, as mentioned previously, the assessment methodology is the same as North 1 West, utilizing that line extension based on the equivalent parcel, which is 10,000 square feet, as well as the CFEC as mentioned before, and that is a flat rate of $6,750 for this UEP. We currently have roughly 3,800 parcels total, which will be impacted and brought online as part of this project. Now the EPs are, 3,500 parcels, but this equates to 3,800 roughly EPs. And so the EPs are, again, based on that 10,000 square feet. So if you had a triple lot, standard triple lot in Cape Coral, you'd be effectively 1.5 equivalent parcels, EPs. And just showing you the distribution throughout the city of the size of those parcels. As you can see, the majority are at that 1 EP and 10,000 square feet. However, it does fluctuate throughout the city, as there are some larger parcels throughout the area which are a little bit higher. And you don't find much lower. That would be maybe on your major roads where you have some of the 40-foot lots which are a little bit deeper, which of course do not meet the buildable requirements, so therefore they end up at some point being combined and typically along a commercial corridor. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Director Crystal Feast to discuss the finance component. Thank you.
Good afternoon. So here is the estimated assessment for a standard EP. $8,221 for water, $9,607 for sewer, $7,710 for irrigation, for a total of $25,538. Adding on the CFEC per standard ERU, the estimate for water will be $1,106, $3,390 for sewer, $2,254 for irrigation, totaling $6,750, bringing the total assessment to $32,288. The city has been awarded the septic to sewer grant, so that has been factored into the assessment, lowering the overall cost. So here's the comparison of the original North 1 East estimate compared to the original North 1 West estimate. As I mentioned before, North 1 East assessment already factors in grants awarded, so we were able to reduce the overall assessment. That wasn't the case for North 1 West, because at the time of the assessment, we had not been able to, we had not been awarded any grants. Since then, however, we have received grants for North 1 West, which once applied will, during our final reconciliation, will reduce the overall assessment by about $4,000. So now comparing the two assessments, North 1 East will come in about $4,000 higher than North 1 West was, or will be. So beyond assessments, homeowners can expect the following connection costs. On average, plumbing connection costs will be about $3,000. Septic abandonment permit, roughly $100. Purchase, meter purchase and installment, $325. And a deposit on account, on their utility account, will be about $225. There are certain categories that will be exempt from having to pay the assessment, leaving the city to pick up the entire cost for these parcels. Those properties include any properties owned by the city, county, state, and federal government. Institutional properties such as churches, private schools, hospitals are partially exempt due to the public benefit they provide. And so what happens with these properties, the city makes an annual contribution each fiscal year covering 85% of the assessment over 1 EP. So property owners are responsible for up to 1 EP and all CFEC costs. The property will be removed from this annual contribution if it fails to cover their portion or if their classification changes from anything other than institutional property. Some parcels are prohibited by city code from connecting to irrigation until other adjacent properties are served with potable water. In these cases, the city advances the assessment, which will be reimbursed once further our future connection is allowed. So based on all of those exemptions, this is what the city will have to cover or can expect to cover, which is the 1.5 or 1.6 million. The city can pay upfront the portion related to the governmental parcels, the 1.5, but the other two categories, that is amortized over 30 years. And so you see the costs, what that cost will be here. Property owners have multiple options for payment. The initial prepayment period runs from November through March of next year. An interim prepayment option covers April through July of 2026. The default is annual installments, billing over 20, 25, or 30 years, with the 30-year being the default. Installments are paid through tax bills with no penalty for early payoff, and first billing will occur November of 2026. For those choosing to prepay, the amounts are listed here, and the total would be $32,288 for all three utilities. If paid during the interim period, April through July 2026, the amounts rise slightly to a total of $33,142, reflecting additional interest accrued. For those choosing to pay in annual installments over 20 years, the estimated total will be $3,961 each year for all three utilities. For longer terms, 25 years is $3,616 per year. And then for 30 years, it's $3,385 per year, offering the most flexible terms for our property owners. Here's a snapshot of the three terms side by side. So annual payment includes principal and interest. The resolutions before you this evening establishes that 6.25% will be the maximum interest rate allowed. So these estimates include that interest rate. However, by the time we actually issue the debt, we expect it to be lower. And so if it is, we will adjust the assessments accordingly. As always, a hardship program is available for qualified owners, allowing for the deferral of annual payments. Eligibility is based on income, and participants must requalify each year. Through the CDBG grant, the city also offers financial assistance to very low-income families for connection costs, septic abandonment fee, and water meter fees. To qualify, properties must be home-owned or owner-occupied, homesteaded, and current on their monthly payments, mortgage payments. So key upcoming dates include our homeowners informational meeting on November 6th 2025. And here we plan to have the contractors available to discuss the work to be done, and then also our staff will be available to speak to the assessments and the financing terms and any questions they have related to that. The final public hearing and contract approvals will occur on November 19th, and December is when we expect the notice to proceed to be issued for construction. And we also have an informational packet similar to what I have here, and that we sent out for North One West. That will be going out in the mail soon. That provides very detailed information, all of the information we presented tonight, and it also helps residents stay informed as we go along through the process. And that is it. So the items before you are approval of the resolutions. Bill and I are available for any questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll now open up public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on Resolution 294-25, please come up. Use the podium to my left, your right. Please remember to state your name for the record.
Michael Carroll. I just did some math, and maybe I got it wrong, but $20 million for 24th to widen it, 3,800 parcels. That's $5,000 a parcel, is that right? If we didn't widen 24th, we would all save $5,000 per parcel?
Would you like me to answer that now, or should I reserve it to the end? Okay. So the widening of 24th is not an assessed cost. That is funded through transportation funds. Thank you.
So it's not part of the assessments? I just want to make that clear.
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Okay. It's just a lot of money, and it's really, my parcel is going to be $60,000 because I have a double lot. It's going to drive you out of the community, but that's all I can say.
Thank you. Come on up, ma'am.
Susan Woolard. We've been here for a very long time, and we're in a very small, like one way in, one way out part of the community on 1 East. Where we are, we're totally surrounded by canals. And in order for them to do a lot of the work they're going to be doing, you know, with coming in with all these big trucks, how are some of us going to be able to even get in and out to go to work on different days? I've seen some of this construction work. Is it totally necessary to have our septic tanks taken out? Is there a way that we can just do city water? I mean, we've been taking care of our septic tanks out there for 30 years now. We've never had a problem through all of the storms. These are questions that I've had for a very long time.
Thank you. Yes, so the Florida Department of Environmental Protection monitors the septic densities throughout the city, and as they increase, it puts the city at risk for certain environmental conditions, and it is only a matter of time until you hit that septic density, which would cause a moratorium on further development of Cape Coral. And regarding the traffic, we will have professional engineers working with our contractors and CEI to maintain access to neighborhoods and temporary traffic control that is adequate and in accordance with the rules.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
I just have a question. What's the minimum income requirement for them to get a hardship? And, you know, you said right there, if they don't meet minimum income requirements, that the city will give them a hardship. Do anybody know what the income requirement is for that?
I don't have the exact number with me, but it's based on federal guidelines, so we follow federal guidelines for that.
But you don't know what it is?
I don't know the exact number, I don't.
Okay, sorry, guys. Number two, well, that's important to know. And does any of these property owners have legal rights to keep their septic and water? I mean, what gives you is there a legal issue in making someone take out their septic system and use your water? I'm just curious. If you can answer that, that would be good too. Thank you.
They're not going to get,
There is none. Well, we'll get an answer, but just hang tight here. Go ahead, ma'am.
no, I honestly have a question of how this can actually
State your
start
name for the
out.
record, please.
I'm sorry, do what, hon?
State your name for the record.
Jacinda Eads.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But this project started out at a lot lower cost. And now when you're getting to our section, it's almost tripled. I'd like to know how and why. Same material, same job, is my question.
Thank you.
We're not going to get an answer to that one either, are we?
Yeah, I mean,
I think we can address them at the end if.
yeah, we'll address all the questions at the end.
And the other question I have is with some of these homeowners, they're not going to be able to afford this because you've got homeowners now in this city that are losing their homes due to these assessments being added onto property taxes. How are you going to prevent any of this from going on? Because people's mortgages are going up because of the assessments, the taxes, insurance, they're not able to afford the mortgage. They're losing their homes in this city. Just a point to make if you guys can look into this, because this, all you're doing is hurting city residents by doing this. And a lot of people are losing their homes. And a lot of people are actually
I ask
selling.
everyone to please keep your comments to yourself so we can hear the speaker. Thank you.
Because a lot of people are selling and trying to move out because they cannot afford this. So you're actually losing residents, and a lot of people are losing their homes that they've been here paying on for years because of these assessments. I think that's something you all need to look into and see if there's any other way you can help the residents of the city with this going on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Susan Allison. My question is, I would like some additional clarifications. What I saw on the screen was for single-family homes. If you have a duplex, is that considered a single-family property? And how are the assessments done if you have a duplex that the owners, the co-owners are living in? Is the assessment for each side? Is the assessment split between the two sides? That's my question.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening, Sean Ryder. Two topics. This is a forced upon assessment to homeowners in Cape Coral. We can live with the water we have. We didn't ask to have city water. I know you guys voted on it. I live in Northwest, and this, like she just said, this started a long time ago, and it was like roughly $12,000, $15,000 total. I live in Northwest. By the time it comes to me, it might be over 40. So if I do a financing, which you guys are adding on finance charges, which we didn't ask for. I didn't ask for a loan. We're not asking for loans. Why is there interest being tacked onto this assessment? That's a big issue. There should be no interest. If you guys are looking out for Cape Coral residents, there should be no interest. Assessment, we're paying for the assessment. We shouldn't have to be added on and being assessed even more interest. I live in Northwest Cape. By the time I'm done, I'm going to be over $80,000 if I finance. That's a lot. That's a lot. Second of all, let's say this is $36,000, $38,000 today, whatever it may be, $40,000. That is added on to my home, which is an investment. So I'm adding on water to my home that's supposed to be an investment. Does my house or our houses go up in value $30,000, $40,000? It does not. That's a losing investment. So we're having to pay for a losing investment. I'm taking money out of my pocket, putting in the stock market, losing, which is water that you guys are doing. So I'm in a losing situation. My value of my home does not go up $30,000, $40,000. If I sell it for $500,000, I get to take off the assessments. That's a losing investment. Plus, I got to pay interest. So that's a big issue. It's a bad situation to put homeowners in, and we're trying to take our money and make value. You guys are taking out of our pockets and losing value. It's a bad investment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Carol Labonte. I assume these assessments were for single-family homes, and I was wondering what the assessment's going to be for vacant lots. That I didn't notice any kind of dollar amount for just a vacant lot, where a meter is not pulled, a permit is not pulled. So is that going to be 30, for a vacant lot, or is there an adjustment for it being an undeveloped lot? There is no property, no home on it.
We'll answer all the questions at the end.
Okay, thank you.
So far, I've got about 5 questions.
Kyle Amadou, and I have just one simple question. Out of all the research the city employees done, and maybe you guys have done, is there any other jurisdiction in Florida that has paid more than we have, or are we the highest in Florida for these assessments? Thank you.
Here's our 2 questions, I think.
Anyone else wishing to speak during public comment on Resolution 294-25? Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion regarding Resolution 294-25?
Motion to approve.
And I'll open up for any, well, before we open up for council discussion, why don't we hear some of the answers, Mr. Corbett?
Sure. So there are 2 questions that I did not have the answer. So the legality, I can defer to Finance or the City Attorney's Office. And then as far as the highest assessment in the state or elsewhere, we can look into that and compare to other markets. Regarding the duplex versus single-family home, as well as the vacant lot, just to provide some clarification. A home is assessed upon improvement, so a vacant lot is not, we do not collect any funds. We do, for the vacant lot upon, okay, so it will go on the tax roll upon installation of utilities. Duplex, however, versus a single-family. The CFEC, Capital Facility Expansion Charge, is flat rate per dwelling unit. So that would be 2 on a duplex, 1 on a single-family residence. The line assessment is based on an equivalent parcel, an EP. So that's based on a 10,000 square foot lot. So if you have a duplex on a 15,000 square foot lot, you have 1.5 EPs, 2 dwelling units. That's how that would work. Similarly, if it is a home that is on a bigger lot, a single-family residence, on a, let's say, triple lot, which is a 1.5 EP, they would only have 1 dwelling unit, which would be 1 CFEC charge. And then final question related to the costs and why they have gone up. We have seen construction costs in, subject to inflation over time. We have construction industry here which has grown, and these costs are strictly based on the construction costs of the project. These are determined simply by taking those hard construction costs and applying it, utilizing this methodology to each parcel. I'll be glad to answer any other questions council has. Thank you.
And before I open up the floor here to council, if maybe staff, I know we had a $25 million grant we got from the state. Could you advise how we're going to apply that grant?
Right, so in the numbers you've seen, that is going toward the wastewater portion of the assessment. So that is a septic to sewer grant, which is focused on wastewater infrastructure. That has already been incorporated into the wastewater assessment number and deducted and incorporated into that assessment you're seeing.
And could you maybe clarify, I know we have the west project that we are just completing, and you have the east project, the 25 million. Did we split that 12 and a half and 12 and a half?
Yes, sir.
Is my recollection, so I just want to make sure that we got that out there. But my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, we had already sent or established the assessment in the west project. So
That is correct.
That 12.5 million will be applied, and there will be a credit that will be applied at some point.
That is correct. So the assessment is always reconciled at the end of the project based on actual project costs. We were awarded the septic to sewer grant after the west had already started. We committed to splitting that between the west and the east. You do not see that reflected in the west number currently. However, at the end of the project, upon reconciliation, that will be added into the calculus, and as Director Feast mentioned before, that will result in approximately $4,000 savings on the North 1 West assessment.
And I want to make it crystal clear, we've already applied that 12.5 million to the east project.
Yes, sir,
And we've
that is
done that already to come up with the number that we have before us tonight.
Yes, sir, that is correct. The number you see tonight incorporates the deduction of the 12.5 million.
Okay, I'll open it up for council discussion. Councilmember Kilrain.
Yeah, I think just so the residents understand, one of the things that we've been trying to do is get additional state and federal funding. We haven't been real successful at it so far.
Can't hear you.
Excuse me.
Just talk a little bit.
Yeah. One of the things that we've been trying to do since we, at least the whole time I've been here, has been, and they've done it before this too, they've been looking, and we have been looking for additional funding from the federal government and state government. We haven't been real successful yet. We got that first 25 million that was based on sanitary, but we're pushing like heck upstairs to try and get some additional money, recognizing that the delay in executing these projects really exacerbates the cost going forward. And I'll give you an example of what we're facing. In 2023, the UEP done at that time was roughly $24,000. In last year, when we did the UEP, it was, you saw the number, 33,000. So over that period of time, all of those materials that have gone into the building and construction of those projects has dramatically increased. So for each period of time that we delay, it only really exacerbates the problem. That's why I think that it's important for us to try and continue to execute these in as rapid a manner as we can, because in the long run, that really reduces overall cost burden. The other thing that I want to mention is that the rate and the opportunity to finance this, because the city has fairly good financial status right now, very good financial status, our ability to get long-term bonding is pretty darn good. And so that rate that's passed on to you is an arbitrage rate with a certain administrative management capability on top of that. And maybe Mason can comment a little bit about the 30-year arbitrage rate now. And depending on what happens out there in the FOMC, the Federal Open Market Committee, and what they're doing with interest rate, that may move down the next couple of months too. But that's not promising anything, but that's the likelihood. So maybe there'll be an improvement in that. But Mr. Mason, might you please just comment on the arbitrage rate and the 30-year bond rates? And
Mark Mason, Assistant City Manager. I think it's important to recognize that the 6.25% is because we don't actually issue the debt for about 6 to 9 months. And so I don't know what the interest rate's going to be for 6 to 9 months from now. And so we need to be able to identify, you know, or at least be able to forecast something that may be there. Now, you know, currently tax exempt debt is right in the 4.9% range, but, you know, in 9 months from now, it could be down to 4.2%, it could be up to 6.5%. But our estimate of 6.25% is simply to, you know, to identify and set the assessment at a maximum assessment amount. That's the whole point here tonight, is what you see as the assessment is the maximum amount that will ever show up on your tax bill, ever. And so that's the ultimate point of that. So if it comes down in the future, you still have the maximum amount, but it could be some number lower than that.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
And I don't want to promise anything here, but if you look what's happening in the macro economy right now in the United States, it's likely interest rates are going to come down a little bit. So let's be hopeful about it. And I know that it's a big nut. It's a real difficult thing for people to put that out of their pocket. But the only way for the city to be able to accomplish this is to do it as rapidly as possible to keep the costs down. And that's the truth based on inflation with the material cost of construction. So, thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Lehman?
Oh, nothing, thank you.
All right, Councilmember Laster.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Corbett, can you address, and I don't remember why, I remember this weird factoid when I purchased my home in 2014, and I was with my realtor, and she said that per state statute, currently at that time, 2014 or earlier, she stated that we had a 12 to 13% seepage rate, that the DEP made us do this mandatory. I think, Ms. Atari, maybe you asked, or someone asked if we had to do this. They have to do this. Isn't there a state statute that mandated this years ago?
I do not have that information. However, I will say that the DEP does monitor septic densities and
Correct.
other environmental conditions, groundwater conditions, and that's aside from our Mid-Hawthorne aquifer conditions. But there are, there's constant oversight by the DEP to make sure that environmental conditions remain safe for the public, with the ultimate ending of a moratorium on any further development if we are not to convert to central utilities.
And I distinctly remember, so if you could get me that information, I distinctly remember that there, per state statute, we were required to do this. That's why I didn't purchase my home in an area that didn't have it, have the city water, because I was concerned about the cost years later. And as you stated, inflation is the reason that we are here, because it wasn't done, I think as one resident said, it was supposed to be done, years ago, and it didn't get done, and here we are today. My other question would be, so converting obviously would also mean that it would not deplete our aquifers anymore. Like we would not need to be concerned about that. Am I right, Mr. City Manager? Or it would help with that, correct?
Yeah, that was
That's
what
the
I was
goal.
gonna say. We're not, previous UEP expansions were looking more so at density and an environmental, from a water quality perspective, an environmental aspect. In the Northeast, our entire thought process has now shifted towards, making sure that aquifer does not collapse.
Correct.
And the only reason that we had the watering restriction level that we were put in recently, this past year with the Water Management District, was because we showed that we had North 1 West, North 1 East, and that we fast-tracked the wastewater plant in North 6.
Yes, I remember that. I just wanted to say that for the public. And then Ms. Crystal, so if these residents choose to do the payment option and spread the payment out, you said it was a 10 years or 10-year time frame that they could do this? What was the time frame? 20, 25, and 30 year Oh, really? Oh, that's great. Okay, that makes me feel so much better. And Okay. what we do is we send out a notice and they have the option to choose. If we don't receive anything back, it defaults to the 30-year option.
It will default to the 30. Well, I mean, I don't think it was that when I first bought my house. I want to say it was like 5 or 10 years we had if I were to buy in that area, and I remember this.
It used to be 20 years. I think with the
there we
last
go.
assessment, we gave options.
Good.
And we're going to stick to that.
Okay, that makes me feel somewhat better, especially for individuals that are on fixed incomes. The last thing I wanted to say, Mr. Mason, when you said this is basically a not to exceed. So in other words, when you stated that 6.25 is kind of our approximation because we want to be able to define it to a number, it won't go above that, right? Just to clarify.
The assessment amount that we show, it will not go above that.
It will not. Okay. Okay, perfect. I think that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Donnell?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. For those of you all who've been here as long as I have, when I was listening, and if you go back, those of you who are historians, and I want you to play the tapes of the conversations we had when I was elected in 2007, and I want you to compare the comments that were made at that podium then to now. I just have the opportunity to share with you, they haven't changed. There's really, at this point, once you really look at what we went through as a community, it was a hard time for us as a community back in 2007 when we restarted. I was sitting here, and I understand. The only thing I hope that you can hear from us, because all this, the technical stuff is just kind of going over by this head. My children were little then. I was teaching students at Cape North High. They are now adults like you, and they're looking to buy homes. And the number is high. There is nothing that I or any of us can say that's going to mitigate that the number is high. We understand it. I certainly understand it. The only thing I hope that you will marinate on it and really take to heart, this council, the council before you are doing as much as they can to get that number as low as we can. There are people amongst you that don't believe that. I'm appealing to those of you all who will look at the history, look at what was done back in 2007, compare it where we've come today without the number. The numbers, everything is getting higher. So the idea of the cost going up from 2007 to 2025, the numbers speak for themselves. But I just want you to know, for those of you all who have a little bit of openness to this, I know I can tell you I'm working hard for all of my students. I'm working hard for all of you as well as the other council members. As you've seen, the things are already in place. We went from 20 to 30 years. We've changed the methodology. There are things that continue to work on to make our community get as lower the numbers we can. But there's no way for me to sit up here and tell you, oh yeah, that number is going to get a lot. It's not. But you have a commitment from myself and others to get as low as possible and to turn over staff, to turn over every rock that we can. But this is the way it's going to be. And you're right, sir. By the time we get to the next outputs, other pieces of the city, it's going to go higher. And our job is going to be, and my job for the little time that I'm here, is to continue to give you the confidence that we're working to get that number lower. I can't make you believe that, but that's why we have all the data here. So all that stuff, Ms. Feast, all the numbers, when they get into the technical pieces, it's available. And I have no problem. Please research it. If you have ideas, bring them forward. But I'm just hoping, my prayer for our community is don't do like what we did, Mr. Il Chisholm, back when we were down 2,000, 3,000 people at the church, yelling and screaming at everybody at each other's throat. That's my prayer we don't do that again. That's all.
Councilmember Lehman?
Yeah. I know people in the north seem to feel that they're getting hit with this. When I bought my house back in 2004, it was a $20,000 bill, and you could only finance it, I think the max was 20 years. And we still, and in addition to that, the hookup charges. And unfortunately, in 21 years, well, not unfortunately, but it's the way of the world, in 21 years, costs have all gone up. So we've gone from 20,000 in when the Southwest was being done, to now 32,000, 21 years later. And I know a lot of times people think that it's only happening to them. No. And in fact, now you can finance it for 30 years. You couldn't back then. It was, if I remember correctly, it was 10 or 15 years, and that was it. Thank you.
Councilmember Kadouk?
Thank you, Mayor. This is a tough pill to swallow, of course, and I think if you, I saw Carol, I know Kyle, we live on the same street. I am the representative of the Northeast, and I will tell you, I grew up in the same district that I now serve. Councilmember Donnell was our council member back then. I was in high school, and my mother received her assessment back in 2006, and it was 10,000 and change, and here we are at 33,367. We're doing water, sewer, irrigation, and new roads. So I think someone had asked the question on if this is more expensive than other areas, and I implore you to look into those other areas. They're simply just doing water. And someone else had mentioned, can we just do water? We absolutely can, but then we will be coming back through and doing sewer, and then we will be coming back through and doing irrigation, and then we're gonna be doing the roads 4 times rather than just one fell swoop at a cheaper cost at doing that. So I think it's important to note that the sooner the better when we get through this. I wish we had the 2007, 2008 prices, but here we are. Everything in the cost have gone up. We have to rip the Band-Aid. I know that, and Mr. City Manager, maybe you can speak on this, if your well goes dry and you need to dig a deeper well because you haven't received your assessment at this time, do you happen to know just generally what it would cost to drill your well even deeper?
Yeah, so right now, the wells at the depth that are having to go down 220 to 250 feet, they're running $15,000 for the well. The size pump, the horsepower that you have to run at that depth is a lot more expensive, so your electricity bill increases, and then because of the salinity of the water, depending on where you're at, you likely need a whole house RO, which is $8,000 to $10,000. So in everything that we've been looking at with the contractors who are building and drilling and re-drilling these wells, you're looking at roughly 23,000 all the way up
Water.
to all the way up to 25,000 just for water.
Just for water, and that's not including our sewer, so you have to have your septic, irrigation lines, roads. So I think overall, yes, it's a tough pill to swallow, but we've got to get through this. We are cheaper than North One West, which is a great, great story to tell here. And I can promise you, I know all of us are asking at the state and federal level for grants and funding. This is like the #1 priority, of course. I do think that Councilmember Lastra was correct where this was a state initiative with the Environmental Protection Agency and our septics running off into our canals, so we can look into that further. And then someone else had mentioned, why are we paying interest on an assessment? Well, technically, you don't have to pay interest on the assessment if you want to pay the $32,288 up front. If you want to finance it, that's when you would be paying the interest on it because you are financing it at that point, and you don't really get a loan for free. That's just not how it works. And I would like to note that when our, anything that we take out here at the government, we also are paying interest when we're borrowing the money. It's the same anywhere across the board. So this sucks, but it's better to get it done now sooner than later. And I'm lucky that we're the next project, and then we're gonna keep going and try to get the whole city done as fast as we can. Thank you.
Councilmember Steinke.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, with regard to trying to get it done as inexpensively as possible, we've mentioned the $25 million. That actually was an effort on our part where we originally were not going to get the $25 million. That was all part of about a $411 million allocation at the state level, meant for septic to sewer for areas that were having the problems with the runoff. And the DEP was basically forcing that, and that's where the dollars were going to come from, but it wasn't for our area. And one of the reasons why it wasn't for our area is because we had been, if you will, environmentally conscious of and weren't getting the levels in our rivers and our streams that other areas in Florida were because of the seepage. And when we went to bat in Tallahassee during 2 legislative visits and worked with our lobbyists for them, in a sense, saying, hey, this is not fair, that because we were taking more diligent care with making sure that the seepage didn't happen, that we shouldn't be excluded from those dollars because our levels weren't as high as some of the other rivers and streams were. And that's where we ended up getting the approval for that $25 million that came out of the 411. So that was one of the pieces where instead of, not being able to control how expenses had gone up on the materials and labor required to get the work done, was to find funding to help try to offset that. So there's not just efforts on trying to make it as inexpensive as possible, but it's also taking efforts to find whatever funding sources we can so it doesn't have to come out of our residents' pockets. So that $25 million was an effort. It wasn't just handed to us. Thank you.
Councilmember Kilrain.
Yeah, Kyle, your question with respect to relative cost and what others are doing it for. I don't have an answer to that question, but I can tell you a couple things about the way we're managing the projects. We took a look at being able to manage this in a more optimum way by putting in a program manager and doing a large project and putting in additional incentives. We're still evaluating. That may be a mechanism for execution of the projects just from a better management style. What the downside of that is that in order to get bonding for that larger project, you have to be a big gorilla in the construction industry. We're one of the largest projects for establishment utilities in the United States right now. We are one of the largest. So we have to make it large enough for the appetite to be there and incentivize that. Second point is technically, in the near future, I mean, water is becoming more of a cherished item throughout, and including Florida, and it's going to be more aggravated to get water in other areas of Florida. We're blessed that we have a very sophisticated technical process right now, which is using actual wastewater that we go down 650 feet into the aquifer right now. That water is so full of brine and salinity. Our processes are the most sophisticated in the world to do that. In the long run, and I'm talking probably a decade or so from now, we're going to be in a catbird seat because we have very sophisticated technical capability for dealing with water as compared to other places. There's no other better way to do it in the long run than what we're doing right now. So the technology is very good. And with that, you know, I think that we're in a catbird seat in that area. So, but it's costly right now, and there's no doubt about it. Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, and just to reiterate what some of my colleagues said regarding the grant monies that we've gotten. I mean, if you look at the West project that was just completed, you heard that it would probably be about a $4,000 reduction. So you can almost take that into account with the East project, knowing that you probably got about a $4,000 savings because of the grant monies that we, as you heard Councilmember Steinke said, we had to go up and really advocate for. You know, we have our federal lobbyists, we have our state lobbyists trying to see what grant monies are out there, what's available. I can tell you at the federal level, and we didn't even get it, we were kind of promised $1 million, but we knew that would have been pennies on the dollar. Look, we got 25 million, and we split it between two projects, and it saved the resident about $4,000. So we're going to continue to advocate for those dollars. There's only so many dollars that are out there, but I assure you that, you know, that's something that we will do each and every year. If it's on the table and we can get it, we're going to try. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands that. It's not like we're sitting here, hey, where's the bids? Here's the number. You guys got to figure it out. Because some of us that sit up here, like Councilmember Kaduke, they have to go through this just like you do. So, you know, we're fighting as hard as we can. We wish we could find the grant money where it wouldn't cost you a penny. Unfortunately, that's unrealistic. But we will continue to fight, look for the monies to offset what the expenses are. And as far as the expenses, you know, look what Councilmember Lehman said that her rate was 20 years ago, or whenever it was, you know, it was $20,000. And I can tell you, just like the gentleman that come up here and spoke and said, hey, I'm in the Northwest, they may not see UEP up there for 15 years from now. I guarantee you it's going to be more than what it is today. So the quicker we can do it, and one of the detriments that you know, a previous council did, they halted all of UEP for about 5 years. And I believe Councilmember Donnell was a part of that. And it helped at the time, but we're paying the price today for the decision that was made back then. So the sooner we can do this, the cheaper it's going to be. You know, it's unfortunate that some people find themselves in this situation. I know some people move because they know it's coming. They'll move to an area either unincorporated, or they'll move to an area that's already had the assessments going through. Maybe the property has already paid the assessments. So there's some of the things that I know some people are doing, but it's an unfortunate situation that we find ourselves in, and I can sympathize with you. But the sooner we can get this done, the better. It's going to be cheaper, because we know we're paying the price now for stopping the UEP for about 5 years. See no other lights on. I believe we have a motion, second on the floor. Madam City Clerk, so if you could call the roll, please.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman. Pardon? Long. Steinke.
Aye.
Donnell. Gunter.
Aye.
Paduk.
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
All right, just want to reiterate this particular Resolution 294-25 that was just approved. That was for the North 1 East irrigation water only. And my understanding, Mr. Corbett, I know you're in the back here speaking, this particular resolution was for North 1 East irrigation only. We have two other ordinances, I believe, one for wastewater. And is the presentation that you gave for this particular resolution, does it apply, or do we have another presentation for that particular resolution?
Yes, sir. The presentation addressed Resolution 294-25, 295-25, and 296-25. So the presentation applies to all three.
Okay, sir. So with that being said, we'll move on to Resolution 295-25. Madam City Clerk, please read the title.
Resolution 295-25, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Cape Coral, Florida, relating to the construction and funding of wastewater improvements, describing the proposed North 1 East wastewater improvement area and the wastewater improvements necessary for the provision of wastewater therein, estimating the cost of the improvements, establishing the method of assessing the costs and benefits of the improvements against real property that will be specially benefited, establishing a public hearing to consider imposition of the proposed assessments and the method of their collection, directing the publication and mailing of notice of such hearing, directing the preparation of preliminary assessment rolls, directing the provision of notice and certain other matters in connection therewith, and providing an effective date.
Okay, thank you. Staff has already given a presentation, so I will move forward with opening a public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on Resolution 295-25, please come forward. Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion regarding Resolution 295-25?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there any council discussion? And again, this particular resolution is on the North 1 East wastewater improvement. Seeing no discussion by council, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Kilrain.
Aye.
Lastra.
Aye.
Lehman. Long.
Aye.
Steinke.
Aye.
Donnell. Gunter.
Aye.
Paduk.
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, and we'll move on to Resolution 296-25. Madam City Clerk, please read the title.
Resolution 296-25, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Cape Coral, Florida, relating to the construction and funding of potable water improvements, describing the proposed North 1 East potable water improvement area and the potable water improvements necessary for the provision of water service therein, estimating the cost of the improvements, establishing the method of assessing the costs and benefits of the improvements against real property that will be specially benefited, establishing a public hearing to consider imposition of the proposed assessments and the method of their collection, directing the publication and mailing of notice of such hearing, directing the preparation of preliminary assessment rolls, directing the provision of notice and certain other matters in connection therewith, and providing an effective date.
Okay, thank you. I will, again, this has to do with the potable water improvements. Staff has already given a presentation. I'll now open up the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on Resolution 296-25, please come forward. Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion regarding Resolution 296-25?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilmember Kadu.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a quick question. I was wondering why the potable water costs more than the irrigation water. Or, excuse me, costs less. I said that wrong.
What was your question again, please?
So the, our resolution 296-25 costs less than the irrigation. I was just wondering why that is.
I'll open the presentation, we'll look at the slide right now and just confirm
Okay.
the numbers you're talking about, and I'll provide clarification. Bill Corbett, Public Works. All right, which slide?
Yeah, I think what she's, it looks like
Yeah,
about,
the total dollar value
31
in our
million.
resolutions.
yeah. You're talking about the 31 million
Yep,
versus the
versus the
45 million?
36, yeah. Just wondering if it's like because of pipes, or like why does irrigation cost more than actual water?
It's a combination of things. There are some areas that already have potable water in place.
Okay.
So if they can bring up my slide here, I can just show you how this, there we go. So if you look at this table, screen that. The number of parcels that have water, or excuse me, that require water is approximately 3,400 equivalent parcels. Irrigation, 3,900. And so some of those water parcels are already in place. And then there's also homes, there's the restriction on the irrigation in close proximity to other areas with well, and that's part of it. But it's mostly the available water already.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. Seeing no other discussions, we have a motion, a second on the floor. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Kilrain.
Aye.
Lastra.
Aye.
Lehman. Aye. Long.
Aye.
Steinke.
Aye.
Donnell. Gunter.
Aye.
Paduk.
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, we'll move on to ordinance 24-25. Madam City Clerk, please read title.
Ordinance 24-25, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Cape Coral, Florida, amending the Land Development Code of the city of Cape Coral, Florida, Article 2, Decision Making, Chapter 1, Planning and Zoning Commission, Section 2.1.2, Membership, Vacancy, Compensation, regarding the composition of the Planning and Zoning Commission, providing for severability and an effective date.
Okay, I know it says go to staff comments. I know this particular item was brought forward by Councilmember Long, so I will turn the floor over to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. Some of you may recall, I believe everybody was here. This was
I'm going to ask everyone to please stop talking. It's very disruptive. It's hard to hear the speakers. If you need to speak, please go out in the hallway, and you can talk all you want. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, this is a follow-up. I had previously asked for a second. I'm not sure who I received it from with regards to the composition of the Planning and Zoning Board or Commission. And really, it was just about makeup. I know in some of our other boards during our time, whether they're now disbanded or still active, there was a composition requirement as far as certain professions that we were seeking various input from. And I noticed over my time prior to my time on council as a member of the Planning and Zoning Commission, and now having dealt with it for all these years, that we don't have those same requirements on that board. And so in particular, there's a proliferation of realtors on the committee. And so it's my opinion that in any board like this, the intent should be that there should be varying opinions. And in particular, there should not be a majority of one particular profession that deals primarily with profiting off of residential and commercial zoning that are mainly comprised on that board. So all this does is it limits that amount of any one profession to 2 while serving simultaneously on that board. And the city attorney could elaborate a little more, but I believe it's like a 2-line change.
Yeah, thank you. And this is a preferred composition where it does provide considerable weight when there is more than one field, and we identify the specific fields in there in order to establish a level of diversity and further understanding. So it is a preferred composition. It does provide greater weight, and we have identified those ones that are essential to a planning and zoning board applicants.
And that was it. I think right now we have, I believe, 5, I know for sure 4, that are registered realtors on the board. So that wouldn't affect their current terms, but as we move forward and we appoint new terms, if this passes, this would be a limiting factor, so to speak, in adding any more until a vacancy provides itself when the number gets lower than 2.
And I think my understanding, Madam City Clerk, please correct me if I'm wrong, I believe there will be some appointments to this particular board, I believe in November, if I recall correctly.
Yes, if you give me a moment, I can tell you how many. I have an
Yeah,
ad on the website.
I believe there was 4 positions maybe that are coming up for reappointment. While you're looking at it, I'll go to Councilmember Kaduc. She's got her light on.
Thank you, Mayor. I believe, my understanding is it's kind of like what we did a few months ago with the Youth Council, where we have preferred schools, and in this case, you're opening it up so that it's not just all realtors, so you have a preference, so you can continue, but we as a council could still choose to appoint that member should we want to. That's my understanding of it.
The language as drafted it does have preferred. It doesn't limit us in the ability to go outside of that scope, but it does, the final sentence in the backup limits that no more than 2 members from any preferred profession may be appointed.
And how many members total are on the P&Z?
I believe it's 8.
8 with 2 alternates.
And 2 alternates.
7 members and 2 alternates.
There you go.
And there are 4 vacancies currently for membership and 2 vacancies for the alternates.
Okay.
I have one more
Coming up.
question. Are we saying industry, or you could be a realtor and you could be a real estate attorney?
Can you flesh that out? Are you talking about practicing, or are you?
Right, I just mean, like, are we saying, like, you're in real estate? So then if you're a real estate attorney and you're a realtor, is that the 2 members at that
To
point?
me, and the planning and zoning had this discussion to a certain extent, and although it's not extrapolated here, because you'd have 1 million pages if you thought about everything, the idea was a licensed real estate agent.
Got it, thank you.
Whether you hold one and are something else.
Right, and you have
If you
an
have an active
attorney
real estate
bar.
license, then theoretically you could act on that. And again, there's no improprieties that I've discovered. This is just a general good practice, I think, to diversify any board.
Thank you.
Councilmember Laster.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I appreciate this. I mean, having reported to boards, served on boards, I think it's important to have a strategic makeup. Councilmember Long, I know that we have that on the Charter School Governing Board, I believe, where we have X amount of parents, and then we have community members, and I think it makes sense. You know, the only thing I think I would be concerned about is if we have an off year, kind of like with Youth Council, where we don't get all of those, or like the construction board, we used to want, you know, so many electricians, and we just couldn't get them. People wouldn't apply for them. So I would say that in that situation, we would make an exception, correct?
Well, I think the ordinance allows you to do that.
Yeah,
because
I
it's a
just want to
preferred.
be clear on that, because like I said, I know.
does the way it's written.
It's my understanding that it does not allow for that as written.
Oh, really?
By design, yeah,
The 2 positions
that's correct.
because of the last sentence.
Unless the city attorney has a differing opinion, the intent and the language as I just cited
I mean,
is.
I just think back to that construction board, you remember, and we had to have certain amounts of electricians and this and that, and we didn't get them. And so we were just appointing whomever applied, correct?
Yes.
That's correct.
Okay.
I think we're conflating the 2 things. It's not necessarily saying that you absolutely have to have these 2. It's
Gotcha.
just saying you cannot have more than.
More than, okay, all right,
So you
understood.
can go outside of this. You don't have to be a landscape architect, engineer, construction, or in land use, but you cannot have more than 2 people in those professions.
Okay.
Serving simultaneously.
Okay, gotcha, thank you.
Ms. Atari, I'm going to ask you, please, if you need to speak, you need to go out in the hallway. Go ahead, Councilmember Donnell.
Yeah, I'm all on board with that last piece because but let me ask the question. What happens then if we don't have enough applicants, but there are more in one field than the other? Because I was thinking there was a catch-all that we can, in those exceptional situations. So the question, what happens, the way the ordinance is written, if we don't have enough applicants to meet the criteria, but we have more than 2 in any one of the professions that are there?
It's
I
a
would theorize we just repost it.
It's a republication of it for additional applicants that will satisfy the requirements of this provision.
That's my only concern, that we keep reposting, but we can give it a shot. Right? But that was that was the only concern I had. I'm certainly with you in theory. Thank you, that's all.
Councilmember Steinke.
A few things. One, since these 8 whenever and whoever they are the ones that actually make the appointments. It would seem to me like that would be something on our minds as we're looking at all of the applicants, and it's up to us not to overload in any one particular industry. To Councilmember Lastra's point, we could find ourselves with 2 members, period. Well, we could find, if we didn't get applicants from another industry. So do we want to leave it open to the judgment of whoever these 8 people are, understanding that it's best not to be overweighted in any one area, or do we want to force these 8 to make decisions this way? I think that's one of the things that we're going to vote for or against. And the other is in our agenda. It said that Planning and Zoning Commission recommends denial.
Each one of the voters were registered attorney, or realtors.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
Okay.
And the non-realtors voted in favor of it. It was
I was going to say, I would have been interested in hearing what the basis of their recommendation was. Obviously, they were protecting themselves.
Yeah, and there's no, again.
But there might be some rationale other than just it should be full of realtors. It might have been based on the fact that people in the real estate industry tend to stay heavily connected to what's happening. We're just not talking about necessarily people that are out there peddling houses, but people that are working with developers. I know that we have some relatively experienced, and tenured commercial realtors in town, and so. But anyway, I was just wondering if we were going to hear from them, since anytime we have an opinion from someone else when we're voting, we typically get to hear from them and get some rationale for why. I was just wondering if we were going to hear from them on why they recommended denial, other than the fact that they were a realtor. That's all.
And I guess my only comment to that was, this discussion was held, they made a recommendation, they knew it was coming to council. If they were that concerned, they would be out here at the podium when I open up the public hearing.
Okay, that's it. Thanks.
All right, before we move further, let me open up the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on ordinance 24-25, please come forward. Seeing none, public hearing is now closed.
Yeah, no, I want to speak.
All right, do you want to
This is
speak?
the
Come
one-
on up.
Yeah, so I won't get yelled at for talking to my neighbor. Hold on. I'm just curious, the way you guys are setting this up is that you're going to restrict a certain amount of people from a certain industry, and you say we could end up with only 2 people. But I'm just curious if you're, like, maybe violating, and I'll look it up, but I shouldn't be penalized from serving my city because of my job. That seems like you're saying, well, we don't want 3 realtors, and you may be qualified, but you're a realtor, so we're gonna pass you up, but for nobody. That doesn't make sense, because I think it's kind of violating my rights to serve. So I'd like you to look into that. You have an attorney here, makes a lot of money, maybe he could look that up. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Seeing none, public input is now closed. Is there a motion regarding ordinance 24-25?
Second.
All right, Mr. City Manager, see your light on?
Thank you. I just wanted to, in the administration of the boards, through the clerk's office, this is not uncommon where we have to administer certain professions or certain roles, or, so I don't want you to think that this is something we're not familiar with. And then if we do get, let's say, 5 applications, and one of them is a realtor and there's already 2 on there, then we just notify them that, the seats for that profession are full, and we bring you up the balance. So you'll still see all of the other applications. It's just, This more affects how we, as administration, will forward and, understand what's available to be filmed.
Thank you. Councilmember Steinke.
Yeah, thank you. I don't think it's necessarily someone's right to serve. They certainly have a right to apply. So if we have only a certain number of each industry, and I don't know that we have that in too many of our committees like this, where it has to be certain industries or certain education levels or whatever. But I'm wondering if we would have the same issue if we had 3 or 4 people there from engineering. So I still believe that there is enough understanding in the 8 people that will sit in these seats to appoint a balanced committee. I would want to have faith that would happen, and that this could overly restrict our ability to have 7 voices, if you will. So I don't think I can support it with the thought that it would make it too restrictive, and there's plenty of opportunity for whoever the 8 people are sitting here to make sure it's not overly weighted in one direction. Thanks.
Okay, see no other lights on. Madam City Clerk, call the roll, please.
Kilrain,
No.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman. Long,
Aye.
Steinke,
No.
Donnell. Gunter,
Aye.
Kaduk.
No.
5 ayes, 3 nays, motion carried.
Okay, we'll move on to, next item of the agenda is going to be introduction. Just want to remind everyone that we'll be getting to citizens' input here soon. If you haven't filled out a card, comment card up here on the front, my left, your right, please do so. Once we get to the citizens' input time in the agenda, the city clerk will be getting those cards and we'll call you up one by one. Item 9D is introductions. First of which is ordinance 54-25. Madam City Clerk, please read title, set the public hearing date.
Ordinance 54-25, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Cape Coral, Florida, that amends the city of Cape Coral, Florida official zoning district map of all property within the limits of the city of Cape Coral by rezoning property described as a parcel of land located in section 17, township 44 South, range 24 East Lee County, Florida, as more particularly described herein, from residential multifamily low to professional zone. Property located at 2307 Bellado Parkway, providing for severability and an effective date. The public hearing will be October 22nd, 2025.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion by staff or council? Seeing none, ordinance 59-25. Madam City Clerk, please read title, set the public hearing date.
Ordinance 59-25, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Cape Coral, Florida, approving contract amendment number 1 to the vacant land contract regarding the sale of municipal surplus real property described as all of lots 12 through 17, block 6400, all of tract G, and all of lots 1 through 5, block 6401, all of tract F, and all of lots 1 through 7, block 6402, all of tract E and all of lots 1 through 4, block 6403, all of tract D and all of lots 1 through 3, block 6404, all of tract C and all of lots 1 and 2, block 6405, all of tract B and all of lots 1 through 7, block 6406, and all of tract A and all of lots 1 through 8, block 6407, all is shown on the plat of Cape Coral, Unit 76, The Islands, recorded in Plat Book 35 at pages 121 through 129 of the Public Records of Lee County, Florida, containing approximately 47 acres, pursuant to Section 2-155 of the City of Cape Coral Code of Ordinances, authorizing and directing the mayor to execute Contract Amendment Number 1 amending the vacant land contract between the city and Gulf Gateway Resort and Marina LLC, property located at 106 Old Burnt Store Road North and 606 Old Burnt Store Road North, providing severability and an effective date. The public hearing will be October 22nd, 2025.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion by staff or council? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 10, citizens' input. Citizens' input is a maximum of 60 minutes set on input of citizens on matters concerning city government, 3 minutes per individual. Please remember to state your name for the record, and also please remember to address this body as a collective body and not as an individual. Madam City Clerk, go ahead and call the cards, please.
Ann Berchtold and Christian Panate.
Good evening. My name is Ann Berchtold. You know, it's come to my attention that a citizen here has been subject to cease and desist actions in regard to a specific phone call. So I'm going to address that citizen by name. Julia Atari called a vendor to question a redacted portion of an invoice. She identified herself as Julia Atari. Apparently, claims have been made that she identified herself as a city employee. And I'm here to state that that is an absolute it's a lie. There's no other way to say it. And how do I know that? Because I was there. I heard her say her name, and she didn't say that she was a city employee. The calling question was made, and at no time did she say she was a city employee. What I want to know is, did anybody contact Julia Atari? Did they say, we've got a complaint, we need to address this with you? I guess not, because she got cease and desist actions. So it really presents a concern, because it appears that a vendetta has been started against that individual, Julia Atari. She deserves an apology, a public one, for the misadventures to which she has been subjected. But more than that, it raises questions about the person who claimed that she said she was a city employee, because I'm not the only one who did not hear her say that, because she didn't say it. She deserves a public apology.
Christian Panate.
Christian.
Marie Kavanaugh and Ella Armstrong.
Well, here I am again, relegated to the back of the bus, exactly where you all want us to be. Even in the videotaping of citizens' input, you show us as tiny and insignificant. Precisely what you think of us, or you wouldn't have implemented these punitive measures. But at any rate, like Ann, I was present when Julia made that phone call to the fencing supplier. And she never identified herself as a city employee. Yet this guy decides to believe the vendor. And that guy wrote up the cease and desist without ever contacting her to get her side of the story. In what legal world is that a responsible thing to do? These two need to be written up. They need to apologize to her. That apology is necessary. And frankly, it's and the flag. Oh, the flag. I'm not sure whether, the city realizes what all is going to be involved in putting in a 250-foot flag, okay? First of all, there's a 10% rule. If you have a 250-foot flagpole, it has to be buried in the ground 25 feet. There's a 10% rule on flags. It cannot be segmented because of the winds and whatnot we have. Plus, they're going to have some big old flag flopping off on the end of the top of the pole. And in addition to being sunk 25 feet in the ground, it has to be embedded in concrete. And my husband's been in the concrete industry, and I had him do a calculation. That's going to take about 425 cubic yards of concrete. Now, how are you going to dig down 25 feet in Bernice Braden Park, which is right on the river's edge, without getting input from the DEP and the EPA? What's their water level there? What's their water table? 8 feet, maybe? How are you going to do that without completely ruining the traffic patterns coming over the bridge? It's not bad enough. Now you want to put this stupid thing in there, and somebody, misguided somebody, thinks that people are going to come far and wide to look at a big old tall flagpole. They're going to travel 45 minutes to an hour from the interstate to come and look at the pole. Oh, look at that, it's a tall flagpole, isn't that wonderful? And the other thing you need to stop doing is doing these median projects. You're spending millions and millions and millions of dollars decorating medians when we need lanes. We need lanes to accommodate the traffic, and you're doing nothing about it.
Ella Armstrong?
Good evening. My name is Brett Fitzgerald. I'm an executive director of the Angler Action Foundation. I'm just going to introduce Ella to you. She's going to bring up some points about a project we're working on here in the area with a very simple and quick ask for you. Thanks.
Hello, I'm Ella Armstrong. I am a supervisor with Sea and Shoreline. We are a aquatic restoration and mitigation company. We've been around for a little over 10 years. We have projects all over the state, some of our biggest being Save Crystal River and projects in the Indian River Lagoon. Right now, one of our other biggest projects is in the Caloosahatchee. We have about 90 acres of restored eelgrass, and our future phases, we're planning to add another 200 acres. When we restore these areas, we have these grow SAV herbivory exclusion devices that we set over the grass to let it grow for a year. We were going to ask permission to use the space at either the Horton boat ramp or the Rosen boat ramp, and there was a property across from the Rosen boat ramp that was suggested to us by Don Andrews to use. These devices will be here for just a few weeks at a time. We can set up deliveries to where they won't be there during the weekends. There won't be any work on the weekends. They'll take up a limited amount of space. We'll keep the area clean. We just need some spacing that is close to our project sites, so it helps us get our work done more efficiently.
I would just like to point out, this is a project that's been ongoing since 2017 when we first received funding. We're north of $10 million spent now restoring the waterways upriver from you, and as we work our way down, allowing us to access a boat ramp and just store these herbivory exclusion devices so that we can just bring them out, protect the grass while it takes root, and then can seed and flower and then spread, would be a great benefit to us. And I would also just like to point out, since I have a minute here, this project came by way to the foundation from a board member who lived on the river about a mile from here. His name was Peter Quashis. If you knew Pete, he passed away last week, but he was a true hero of conservation in the state of Florida, and this project is going to be a great legacy that will carry his name for generations. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dave and Kyle Lahamadou.
I'm going to be a little all over the place. I'll do the best I can. Dave Kalish is my name. I know you all know me. The first thing about what's going on with the assessment with the water and all that other stuff, I know when I first moved here 6 years ago, there was talk about it, and it was relatively reasonable at that time, and real estate wasn't in the gutter like it is now. So a lot of people are hurting more because times are more difficult now, whether you guys agree or not. How about a survey on the people to find out how many are going to have to walk away from them homes? Wouldn't it be nice to know before you just chase everybody away? And you were talking about your committees before. There was a time when I first came here that there was a CRA committee and a budget review committee, okay, that wasn't controlled by the council, like everything is now, okay? Those committees worked. You had smart people on them, and they worked. Why don't we go back to doing that? Then you guys don't have to sit here and argue about, should I have this many people or that many people, or who should we pick, okay, and who do we want to be on them? That's all baloney. Okay, what else? I haven't been here in quite a while. The reason I haven't been here in quite a while is because it's very discouraging to come here, because you guys sit there and pretend that you give a crap about the people in the city, and no way do you. You will never convince me from what you do, okay? And personally, the way you pick on Julia, I take offense to it, and it's not even me, okay? You're out of control with that. What else? I fought the city along with a lot of other people for 2 years on the J.C. Park deal, okay? Not realizing what I was getting into, because realizing up at this point, and that's why I don't really come here much anymore, because you guys don't have any value, and you don't listen and you don't care. And you're never gonna change my mind, okay? So it's very frustrating. Also, before I lose my time, I was there on that phone call also. She never said she was a city employee, okay? So it's ridiculous what goes on here, okay? You guys have your agendas, you don't listen to the people, you feel bad for the people in the city who don't even pay attention and don't even really realize what's going on, okay? I used to come up here and just say you guys all really need to be removed, especially the mayor. How many times did I say that? Actually, I saw that recently on Facebook again. Kind of brought back memories. I thought I'd wear the same shirt, just for memory's sake, okay?
Thank you.
I got nothing else.
Kyle Amadou, District 7. First, I'd like to correct a statement made by Julia Attari a few weeks ago. She claimed our only industry is construction. That's simply not true. We also have a thriving car wash and self-storage industry. Let that sink in. Secondly, regarding the claim that Julia Attari allegedly identified herself as a city employee during a phone call with a contractor, that is completely false. I was present for that phone call, which was on speaker the entire time, with Julia and 4 others in the room. At no point did she state or imply she was a city employee. Had she done so, I would have flipped a flying you-know-what. The statement made in the city manager's correspondence are also inaccurate. The fence contractor never asked Julia if she was a city employee, and she certainly didn't hang up when that supposed question was asked. The phone call lasted several minutes and ended cordially. Did anyone stop to consider how absurd it would be for a city employee to call a city vendor to ask why the city's own paperwork was redacted? Makes no sense. There were multiple witnesses present who can verify exactly what happened. You don't have to take my for it, but hopefully you'll take theirs. As for the city's justification for the redaction, the statute provided indicated it was withheld because it contained a social security number, not a bank account number. When have you ever seen a social security number or a bank account number listed as a line item on an invoice? Exactly, never. If we somehow are misinterpreting the statute, perhaps the city attorney can clarify what the actual basis was for the redaction. Thirdly, I'd like my council member to formally ask the city attorney the question I sent to them. This is regarding citizens clapping in support of each other during citizens' input, which is our 60 minutes. If the non-district member's issue is simply discomfort with public disapproval of his and his fellow council members' actions, that's the problem for his big shoulders, not ours. Lastly, if the mayor could say anything to Scott Kemp today, what would he say?
Julia Attari.
Whew. Well, since I'm the subject of this afternoon, I would like to say I do have the cease and desist letter that you sent me. I was in a room because as a citizens group, we meet together. When I made the phone call, I had the phone on speaker. At no time would I say, "Hi, my name is Julia Atari. I'm a city worker." No. Not only did the gentleman speak to me, he gave me his email address and said, if you could find out any more information about where the additional $5,000 was, let me know. If the city owes it to me, I'd like the money. There was no ever did I tell them I work for the city. And on top of that, it gets better. It doesn't just get a cease and desist based on hearsay information. This went on for 2 weeks before Kyle called the gentleman back and said, do you mind if we interview you, an email, for the $5,000, where to happen to it? And when, after that, is what prompted the cease and desist letter. So, again, both of them knew, and nobody ever said to me, this is what happened. This is what the gentleman said. There's nothing in the letter that says, this is what was said to me by Joe Blow. Then we get this, the fraud alert. Isn't this lovely? The fraud alert sent to every business in the city that says, I am, well, thank God they didn't use my name. They said there's been a fraud leak because somebody is calling our vendors and saying they're a city worker. Do not answer anybody. The city doesn't work like that. You all should have got this letter. You're looking like a deer in the headlights, but you all got this. I don't know what this costs to mail out. This is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. How much money did you spend on this letter? I want to know. Okay, you just sent a letter out to every business owner, which I find interesting since you don't have a list of vendors. Isn't it amazing? When I asked for a list of vendors, you told me you didn't have one. You came up with one pretty quick. So my public records request today is I want a list of everyone that got this letter. That's my public records request, not redacted, because there's no social security number on this letter, okay? I am so dissatisfied as a group of citizens that just investigate the abuse and neglect of citizens' funding. And this is the retaliation that I get. And for no reason, none. There's no reason for it. I want to know how much this cost.
That's all I have for comment.
Is that all
cards.
you have?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Since that's the last person, please no clapping. The citizens' input is now closed, and I'll open up for council discussion. Councilmember Laster.
Thank you, Mayor. Ms. Atari, I'm sorry that happened. I don't think any of us were in that room when you all were in the room. So I'm sorry that happened. I don't know, because I wasn't there, all the details of it, but it's unfortunate, and I just hope we can move forward from that. In terms of the letter that you sent out, I did not personally receive that letter. I'm guessing maybe that it went out to businesses, and potentially maybe we partnered with the Chamber of Commerce to get their list and to send it to their list, or CCCIA. I don't know. But yes, I think we can get some answers to those questions. Let's see. Mr. Kalish, you talked about budget review and CRA and selection. We did select those. Council members do select, just like we do for planning and zoning, or just like we do for the charter governing board for the schools. So budget review and CRA, yes, we did select. Now, I made a commitment when I first became elected and listened to how the process had changed over the last 2 years. And my commitment was by the end of the year, I was going to assess it and think, by watching the budget town hall meeting that we had this summer that was very poorly attended, and then make a decision at the end of the year to see if there's any interest from the rest of my team up here to bring that back. Similar to what Councilmember Kaduke did when she was first elected. And I'm still going to make that commitment. I'm still going to hold to it at the end of the year. and bring that up if there's any appetite to return the budget review. Because I think I've said it, a lot of us up here were on that budget review before we became elected, and we learned a lot. So I think it's valuable, and I'm speaking from experience. Kyle, you talk about the decorum and the clapping. Long time ago, Mayor, and I don't know if we did this, but we used to read a decorum clause, didn't we, during citizens input, or is that before 2017? Did you ever read a decorum, like, to kind of remind people? You do,
Yeah,
right?
the council rules are posted
Thank you.
outside
Okay.
on the board now.
Understood, but you used to read them, right? Didn't you used to read those out loud?
What, all of the
No,
rules?
no, just the decorum piece. There was a piece, it used to be on our agenda, and it used to talk about decorum, and I'm just gonna make this point. So Kyle, you know, I know you've heard us say that these are quote-unquote professional meetings. And, you know, the decorum clause that we used to list would state, obviously, you know, when we're celebrating employees' tenures, and at the beginning of the meeting, and there's celebration for that, of course, we're gonna clap. During a professional meeting, it's not always appropriate, and as you said, and me too, I can't hear up here, and I know you guys can't hear, especially some of us when we speak, even when we have our microphones on. So I just wanted to say that, you know, there's just an appropriate time for that, and it's not necessarily after each one of you speak. So if I can find that, I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you, and you know, maybe it's just worth us revisiting as a council up here to remind our residents. What? Our time. Got it. Okay, and then Ms. Kavanaugh, you sent an email about the flagpole, and you talked about the regulations, and I can assure you that should that flagpole come to fruition, it will be done very safely. I know that the county has already done.
This is an open discussion, please.
The county has already done drawings of it and put it kind of in the visuals. And I also want to remind everybody that Mr. City Manager, when he brought this up as an idea, he talked about 100% having it funded by sponsorships, by no different than what I'm doing with the Youth Council, going to different businesses, you know, asking for a donation. When I'm out in the community and I'm in groups, I have folks come and talk to me about that, and they say, yeah, my business, we would definitely donate to that. So that's kind of a wait and see. I would say, you know, we're still several years away from that, and it takes time to raise that kind of money. Let's see, and then I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Cadu.
Thank you, Mayor. This is for our city attorney. I believe that I sent this to you, but if you could just publicly respond. What law gives anyone the authority to prohibit citizens from clapping in support of speakers during public input, especially when the rule is applied selectively? Citizens' input is limited to 60 minutes, and citizens applauding in such of each other within that time isn't disruptive. It's part of free expression. If there's a legal basis, whether federal or state, for restricting it, the public deserves to see it clearly cited.
There is a body of case law precedent that establishes that this is a limited public forum pursuant to constitutional interpretation of the First Amendment. Based upon that, the government, the city, has the absolute legal right to restrict speech and, more importantly, to restrict the conduct of disruptive behavior such as clapping, stomping, talking, eating pizza, and all the other offensive conduct that has occurred to disrupt the business activity of this collegial body. As a result of that, the mayor and city council adopted specific rules. Those specific rules identify that those are prohibited during the business meeting. I would encourage those individuals to do a little research and identify what is limited public forum, what is disruptive behavior before they provide their legal opinion in violation of Florida rules. I can continue on.
Councilmember Steinke.
Thank you, Mayor. Is Ella still here? I saw in e-comments was sent in your entire program and your ask. Has that come through the city at all? Has a formal ask been brought forward? And Mr. City.
Yeah,
Where do we need to be with that?
You all received an email on this. I think Ella did speak with Joe, and Joe let her know that we would need to be able to execute a permissive use license agreement, that we need to get some information from them on, you know, the company or that 501c3, so we could fill it out and bring it before you all.
So we are entertaining that, and we'll see that in some form coming forward here soon?
It's on them. I mean, we have no objection to it, and my understanding is that Parks and Rec gave them the path forward, but I don't know if that has gone any further on their side.
Okay,
But
is that your understanding as well? Okay, all right, cool. All right, thank you. And Ms. Kavanaugh, my grandfather served in the Army. I've got his folded flag on my wall. My uncle served in the Marines. I've got his folded flag on my wall. My son currently serves in the Army. And to hear stupid and flag in the same sentence in a business meeting in a Purple Heart city is a little concerning. So if an effort to display our flag in a Purple Heart city that will be supported by businesses to provide the funding for it and would have to be erected with the right standards for it to be erected, I just found it surprising. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess I'll weigh in here real quick. When I sit here and I run the meeting as per the rules that have been adopted by City Council. And when you look at the rules, which fall under the council agenda rules, there are several things that are outlined as far as the decorum and conduct of individuals. And when you look through some of these, and I'll read a few. Proper decorum shall be maintained at all times. Only persons who have been recognized by the presiding officers shall address the city council or make audible remarks during the meeting. Unauthorized remarks, stomping of feet, whistling, and other similar demonstrations are not permitted. You go down a little further. Refuse to follow the instructions of the mayor or city council or to comply with these policies or any other rules governing the council's proceeding. Any person who engages in behaviors that is prohibited herein or is boisterous, disruptive in any manner to the conduct of the meeting shall be asked to leave by the presiding officer and may be escorted out of the meeting by the police department. That's what our rules are. Now, the one individual stated, I was out of control. All I was doing was implementing and following the policies that the city council have put in place. That's what my job is. If you look at tonight's meeting, how many times did I ask people to please quit talking? 3 or 4 times at least. And you failed to listen. So if anyone is out of control, it was a few people in the audience. And I'm not going to mention their names. And there are the individuals that I mentioned to please quit talking. So I think I was given a lot of latitude tonight because I had to tell you 3 or 4 times, but you kept talking. And it's disruptive. This is a business meeting. I don't know what to tell you if you don't like the rules. The only way the rules are going to change is if 5 members of this council change them. So until then, I'm going to follow exactly what the council rules are. Moving forward, if I see the same individuals that repeatedly talk if I've asked them not to, and I will point them out if I know who they are. If it continues, then I will ask those individuals to leave. I don't want to have to do that. Just wait your turn, speak either during our public hearings, make your comments then, or during citizens' input. That's when you have the opportunity. You don't have the opportunity to sit in that chair and sit back here and talk and be disruptive. That's not going to happen, whether you agree or disagree. I'm telling you, that will not happen. This is a business meeting, we're gonna hold it as such. So I just want to forewarn you in the future that if you're disruptive, you won't be in here. So with that being said, we will move on to the next item, which are council reports. And we will move on to Councilmember Steinke.
Wow, first up. Thank you, Mayor. On the 19th September, I attended the MPO meeting. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough people to conduct business because we didn't have a quorum. I'm hoping that doesn't happen again. On the 24th of September, I attended a neat grand opening that we were all invited to at the Escondido Lounge, which is a very unique establishment brought to us by one of our business owners that was here. I would encourage people to check that out. Pretty neat along Cape Coral Parkway, accessible both Cape Coral Parkway and 47 Terrace. On the 25th of September, I met initially with a group of concerned citizens in regard to dredging of our canals, and I think it's important for those listening at home and those here to know that we, as I think most people know, we have to get approval from Army Corps of Engineers, DEP, for us to do anything that involves moving the ground underneath the water, and they were concerned with the progress that was being made on the dredging efforts that are necessary, and our Public Works has been involved with this group. We met again today. We got some consultation and advice to break our permit request up a little bit for a quicker approval, and that was done. And our maintenance permit is now submitted under the with the new scope, which is supposed to allow us to get that approval much quicker, so that we can get to work and get the maintenance of the canals back in shape to allow better clearance for the boats that need a greater draft than presently exists. On the 25th, I attended our second budget hearing. 3rd of October was present and spoke at the ribbon cutting for our new parking facility that we have in conjunction with the Cove on 47th. That's a great addition to our CRA area and for the businesses to have parking for their patrons. The first in a series of additional parking availabilities coming to that South Cape area. 7th of October, I had a meeting with our CCCIA members as it relates to some issues going on inside our public utilities. Setbacks, if you will, that's I know being addressed right now with city staff. Attended our CTAC this morning and got update on our medians. We will have and hoping for an addition on our cow to talk about a more limited scope that we will want to have available to us that would basically just deal with curbing and turf, so that we can get more miles done with the dollars that we have available to us, both for implementation and then for maintenance down the road. And like I mentioned, I met with the concerned citizens again today regarding the dredging of our canals and some of the mouths into some of our main thoroughfares aquatically. So that's it for me, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Donnell.
No report, Mayor.
Councilmember Kadouk.
Thank you, Mayor. On September 18th, I attended the Youth Council meet and greet at Nice Guys. That was an awesome event. I hope they fundraised a ton. On September 26th, I attended the Horizon Council General Membership Meeting, and I also attended the Leadership Cape Coral program right here in our council chambers. I still have to say that 2018 was the best class ever. Go 18. September 27th, I hosted my District 7 Town Hall at Island Coast High School, and I just want to thank our city manager for coming. I did not invite him or expect him to come, but he did come, and I didn't have to take as many vigorous notes because he could answer the questions right off the bat, so I want to thank Mike for doing that on his own time and without an ask. On October 3rd, I also attended the ribbon cutting at the Cove for the parking garage. I think this is a great addition to our downtown area. October 8th, today, I met with Nicole with our All Abilities Play nonprofit. I think what her mission is great, and I hope that we can support her in many ways through many parks throughout our area. I also attended our CTAC meeting. Lots of good discussions there. And then I met with the CCCIA regarding the PUEs in easements. I hope to have staff talk to us about that a little bit more. And then I also attended the Chamber Luncheon, which was a Cape Coral Parkway Bridge update. It looks like that this won't be complete until 2031, which is crazy. So I just want to publicly state that when everyone's like, why is this taking so long? We knew it was going to take forever, and it was important for Commissioner Hammond to give us that update. Thank you.
Councilmember Kilrain?
Yeah, September 18th, I also attended the Youth Council fundraiser. September 19th, the MPO, and on the 25th, also the budget meeting. On September 26th, the Horizon Council, and also the Chamber leadership that council person Saduk had referenced, and also went to talk radio that evening and listened to Jennifer do a great job on talk radio. September 29th, went to the ribbon cutting of the Salad King, kind of unique little operation there. A lot of back of the house stuff in that, the little salad place that you wouldn't believe. It looks like a full-blown restaurant. Also attended the Chamber Leadership Government Exchange and, the resident group on renting multiple rooms. Had a little side town hall, if you will, at Sandoval on that. On September 30th, went to the Republican Club, and I was impressed with the turnout again. In this off time of the year, they probably had over 150 people there. I also went to the, also did a follow-up with a small resident group in Sandoval on the red speed and the fees being charged there. On October 3rd, went to the Cove ribbon cutting, as Councilperson Stanky had mentioned, and also did the Hook Dialing interview at Talk Radio, Cape Talk Radio, that evening. Saturday, October 4th, attended Kiwanis Kid Fest, where the mayor gave a very nice proclamation. And October 6th, Monday, resident group and talked again about red speed. That's a very popular discussion out there. A lot of interest in how red speed's going. And then this morning, the 7th, I attended or discussed with a group from the courts as to what their concerns were about the new professional rating systems or amateur rating systems that they're using there. And also attended the Kiwanis membership meeting in the evening. Also met with CCCI individuals who were talking about right-of-way requirements and their efforts to try and influence us on those. Wednesday, October 8th, the CTAC in the morning, and then a bit of a bridge update meeting, and also participated in the staff reviews. That bridge update was done at the Chamber luncheon today. And my next town hall is October 18th at Cape Christian from 10 to 12. We're going to discuss Cape Fire as the topic, and they'll be open for general discussion. Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that. One last thing. I'll be out of town from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and returning Monday. I'll be in Pennsylvania. Thank you.
Councilmember Laster.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you to everybody who came, Councilmember Steinke, Kaduk, Kilrain, Lehman, for attending the Youth Council meet and greet. It was an incredible success. That night, we raised over $7,400 cash in hand. The kids were super excited about it. And I'm happy to report that right now, cash in hand, we're at about a little over $11,000. So we have
around 8,000 or 9,000 more to go. Thank you to my neighbors. Thank you to all of you up here who've donated. Thank you to our Cape Coral Fire Department Union, Mr. Murth, thank you for supporting a child, and also from IUPAT, they've supported a child, and Ed Ryan's radio show was able to raise $2,700. So I'm just super excited for these kids. They're just an incredible group. Our upcoming events include a movie night, as well as we will be at Trunk or Treat. We will be wrapping hopefully small children in toilet paper. We will have a mummy contest. We will have a pot open to say, make a donation if you'd like. Either way, every kid can participate. So it'll be fun if anyone wants to volunteer at our truck to help wrap our mummies. I also, attended on, let me look, on 10/1, I attended the Center of Hope reception, which is the new Salvation Army facility that will be coming to Fort Myers. This will also, I believe, replace the shelter that we used to have at the Bob Janes Triage Center, which was located in downtown Fort Myers. This will replace that, have more beds available for our homeless throughout Lee County. So it was a lovely reception. Thank you to Senator Passidomo for inviting us. On 10/2, we had our Affordable Housing Advisory Committee. We will be bringing some recommendations to council on the 19th of November. I'm sure you've seen everything about AUDs and gotten lots of emails for and against. Sorry, not sorry, just kidding. And then I attended the YMCA Gala on 10/4. We're very excited. I hope that they end up coming to our city. They have a wonderful organization. Their facility in Fort Myers is really small, but they serve thousands of children and their families, and I really hope we get one here. So I'm looking forward to that, but I got to learn a lot about the organization and specific numbers to our area. And then lastly, today, I attended a Red Tide panel discussion, which was at the Vester Water School at FGCU out in Bonita, way out in Bonita. And I participated in that discussion. I learned about some potential new technology, Mr. City Manager, involving clay. They use this off the coast of China and other parts of Asia to eliminate their red tide before it comes in. They go out about 30 miles offshore. They have this clay solution. They drop it when you see the red tide bloom, and it kills the red tide and drops it to the sea floor. There were a lot of individuals there that would ask questions about, does it do anything to the sea life on the bottom of the ocean? They didn't have an answer, but it was a partnership with Virginia Tech and Florida, the water school at FGCU. While I was there, I did talk to Dr. Mike Parsons and asked him, why can't we have a water school in Cape Coral? And it's a very involved process. So you'd be raising 10 times that, what you're raising for a flagpole to put that school in our city. But hey, it's a possibility. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, Councilmember Lehman?
Yeah. I want to just clear something up. My town hall, that was October 4th, it fell through the cracks. That's why it wasn't on posted in the paper. It wasn't on the site. There was nothing intentional on anyone's part. It fell through the cracks. I thought it had been followed up on. Media thought I had canceled it. It was just a confusing mess. At any rate, November 1st at the Mohawk Library will be my town hall. I do town halls the first Saturday of every month without fail. And the fire department is coming on November 1st. That is already etched in stone. It won't fall through the cracks. On October 3rd, I went to the Soleil Luxury Apartments ribbon cutting up on Diplomat. Quite a place to behold. It really was very nice. On October 4th, I volunteered for the Pace Center for Girls for their gala. They had a fundraising gala over at the Porsche dealership. I've never seen a workroom with cars in it with that clean a floor. at any rate, they met their goals. They made over $100,000 that evening. Oh, yeah, they did quite a bit that evening. At any rate, I also, today I went to the Chamber Luncheon at the German American Club to, about the Cape Coral, the updates on the Cape Coral Bridge. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Long.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I actually do have something. It is time for your semi-annual Charter Review Committee update. Commission, rather. No, so as you know, I was appointed the liaison to that board, and as part of that, the idea was that I was going to come back and bring you updates. The reality is, the way that they had decided to fragment the meetings, there wasn't a lot of meat on the bone at each individual meeting that warranted bringing it up each time. We're finally getting down to the end here where they've narrowed it down to a list of, I believe, like 8 or 10 articles that they've garnered majority support of, at least to the point where City Attorney's Office has been tasked with kind of drafting up some prospective language. So we're talking about things like, for example, residency requirements was one, obviously. Believe it or not, single-member districts garnered enough support to at least make it through the recommendation to get to us, so they're tailoring how they want to draft that. You know, Mayor Pro Tem language, not sure what the issue was there. But they talked about time limitations for emergencies, cleaning up, filling of vacancies, and one of the more controversial ones, obviously, that they covered was the salary or the compensation of council. And so they've got a recommendation that they think that they've settled on, and they're working with again staff to draft some language. So what I had suggested is that they ultimately meet one more time once they have that language to kind of prioritize, at least to provide to us, because obviously we're limited in the amount of referendums that we're able to put forward. And so that's where we're at now. That meeting is, I believe, going to take place this week. And then at that point, they should have something to ultimately bring forth to us formally. So that's the charter update. I guess just one other thing to put on everyone's radar. While we were here, we received an email from Representative Mike Giolombardo's office regarding Hudson Creek. Apparently, and again, there's a lot of in the drafted bill, but it's a draft act establishing a stewardship district for Hudson Creek, essentially. And so, if you all recall, Hudson Creek, we came through and we provided them a zoning approval, about one or 2 years ago. A bulk of what was inside of that was residential dwellings, I believe upwards of 3,500. And so as consideration for that, we had asked for a couple of concessions, and the largest one that the city received was that they were going to provide at their cost water and utilities all the way up Burnt Store Road. And frankly, that was the only reason that I had supported it. And so that was going to be a benefit to our taxpayers and the city, ultimately upwards of, I believe, $40 or $50 million. And so it's my opinion that this is an attempt to circumvent that part of the agreement. And so I would urge each and every one of you to confer with staff to I guess, formulate your own opinion. They did say that they were asking whether or not each individual council member supported it, and they had a deadline of, I believe, Monday to submit that recommendation or that drafted letter. So again, I encourage you all to meet with staff and get educated on that particular language and all the nuances of it, formulate your own opinion, but I certainly am opposed to it. Thank you.
Mayor, can we ask a question about the commission, about the report from them?
Sure.
Are they planning to narrow that? Are they planning to still submit all 8?
No, there was those items that I had mentioned and a couple other ones are all theoretically meant to be brought forth for our consideration, and then I guess the onus would be on us to rank and file, so to speak, the priorities. They're going to set their own, prioritize the list, and then ultimately it's our decision to decide what we want to do with it. And I believe they're discussing sending a representative to speak on behalf of the board, obviously, when they do submit that report, and then obviously there will be a formalized report, so to speak, that we can all digest as well.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess for me, just so everyone knows, I spoke with the city manager earlier today regarding, I knew that email was coming. I had gotten a phone call and knew it was coming. So I thought it's important for us as a collective body to have that discussion. My understanding, the city manager will be bringing something back next week during the committee of the whole, to have a discussion, see what staff's recommendation, and so we'll vet that topic. So I just want you to know that I had asked the city manager if we needed to identify that particular topic specifically in the agenda, and he didn't feel that that was necessary because he was going to be having a discussion on legislative priorities, and he was going to incorporate that discussion specifically within that topic. So I just want everyone to know tomorrow when you see the committee of the whole meeting, it's not specifically listed, but it is incorporated in our legislative priorities.
What was that topic, Mayor? I'm sorry, I missed it.
The topic that you spoke about with Mike G. and the bill.
I understand. Okay, just again, if you could, they're asking via email because the deadline's Monday and it's a hell of a lot easier to fight it ahead of time. So I know I don't want to call a special meeting, but
Yeah, I mean,
talking about it Wednesday,
just so you know, I spoke to Representative G. Lombardo earlier today. Apparently, in his conversation, or in our conversation, it listed that he is on a deadline for a Monday to at least do some type of a draft language or get a placeholder for that topic in this next legislative session. He went on to state if it didn't look like the city was going to be in support of it, there's another deadline after Monday as well he has to meet. And if this body decided that a majority of us wasn't on board with that particular bill, that he probably wouldn't continue down the path of trying to get that on the legislative calendar. As we all know, this particular ask that they're asking for has to be approved by this body by a majority vote. So I guess he's, if doesn't look like there's a consensus, why move forward with it? Because it's only going to fail later. So I think that's what they're looking at. So that's how the discussion went with me today. So with that being said, Mr. City Attorney, report.
No, nothing there.
Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. I have two announcements, and hopefully one of them you all will talk about in your next updates. So Bike Night returns Saturday, October 11th from 5 to 10 p.m. And we will have a headliner Hardwired, a Metallica tribute, as well as a slow bike race at 8 p.m. And then just a reminder, City Hall will be closed Monday, October 13th in observance of Columbus Day. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have time and place of future meeting. We have a committee of the whole is scheduled for Wednesday, October 15th, 2025, beginning at 9 a.m. here in council chambers. I will entertain a motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.